they did both Sussex games last year. They did the one at Hove that they just about got over the line against.
You were very good at Eastbourne. We stuffed them to 50 overs.
50 overs, yeah.
What else there is to say about Sussex? Everyone's scoring runs and everyone's taking wickets. They're just playing extremely well. Everybody, apart from Rawlins. But yeah.
Well, I think he wins toss with some men.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, well, that was how they did it when they won at Hove last year, wasn't it? So, the batting's probably the weaker suit for them, even though Salt, Bright and Evans have been scoring runs. Need to put them in and then bowl better.
So you come by train, have you?
No, car.
Dad?
Parked in a side street.
Dad here, is he?
No.
Can you drive yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, good. How long did it take you from where you were?
It's about 45 minutes or so.
Where were you?
Where was I?
Where were you last night then?
Last night? Between Westbury and Devizes.
It took you 45 minutes to get here, is that all? Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was a very quick journey. I was quite surprised how quick it was actually.
Yeah.
Because, just wasn't any traffic anywhere, which I was amazed by because, I mean, would have thought there'd be tailbacks, but none.
God, yesterday on the M4 was ridiculous. I went to junction 14 to go to Cribs and I quickly turned round because the traffic was going past junction 14 up towards Gloucester going southbound. It was mad.
How long does it take you to get here?
About 30 minutes on a good day. I never come down the M32.
No.
Come down the A38. Who's 68?
What, us?
Yeah.
Ty.
Ty, yeah. So there's 12 out there, aren't there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. 13 in fact.
Who's that? Who's got the...
Hammond. Got his hair
he's
coloured.
got his hair, right, yeah.
He's young.
But is it just for today, or has he had that?
Just for the day.
Right. Wonder how long that's going to take to wash out.
I shall go and do the toss in a minute, which is in 15 minutes time. Judah, what are you doing up there?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Not much.
I want a biscuit. I'll try and get a biscuit. Yeah, I thought you
No,
might.
no, no, just go on.
Why not?
You're on the diet.
Oh yeah. True.
That's cool.
Cobain.
Here we are.
It's very tight of you. I think I'm going to have a cream. I like the cream. programme on the weekend about how they make custard creams. Carlisle, yeah, good.
Who's doing it?
It came from factory live. It was good actually.
Yeah,
It was
right.
good.
Is that Quest you were watching?
No, on BBC One.
Oh,
No,
BBC
it's
One.
there.
They have programs like that on Quest. Everything's are made. So they're playing again after lunch.
And Smithers.
He's moved on to 99.
Well, apparently on the radio this morning, he's never got 200s in a Test match. And that's it.
Who else is
Yeah.
Smith.
No, of course he chooses now to get his average over 70 by the end of this series. It's 61 before this all started, and then
Well, he's just unused, isn't he? They
Yeah.
can't bowl to him.
he just doesn't miss. I mean, he stands there French cricket style, and he doesn't miss.
Is he right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed. But he just, he has this sort of crab. Well, they call him the crab. He sort of His
I can, yeah. I can
bats kind of
visualise,
out
yeah.
towards cover, and then he takes this giant step across from leg to off, and they all think that they can get him LBW, and every time, even if it's on off stump,
There's
he'll
his
turn
left
it away,
side,
just
yeah.
won't miss. Incredible eye he's got. I mean, if you asked almost any other batsman to bat the way he did, they wouldn't be able to, because they just miss it all the time. They'd get out LBW.
Oh, there's right trouble. Oh, what's this sort of thing? Is that curry?
No!
Stroganoff.
Beef stroganoff.
Stroganoff.
It's a bit weak actually. It's a bit insipid if you ask me.
I bought some paprika. Do you want some?
Some what?
Paprika.
Oh yeah, I'll have some of that.
No, I haven't.
That's a good joke.
It's like I think you mentioned it at Cheltenham, where Batsmen stances, you shouldn't try and coach someone. They've got their own particular stance and style. That omelette, if it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there stuff in my tea sheet?
No.
Good.
If they lose this, I think I'm going to
If they lose
blame
this, they're out.
the downturn in T20 to the loss of Nima Barnett.
No, Nima Barnett was good. He scored it out, but they missed Nima Barnett.
I do. I mean, when he got injured at the end of last year and they missed him in a couple of matches, they started playing a lot worse.
He's got the most six in the T20 last season.
What was that one?
No, he's good.
What?
No one disses Nima Barnett.
No, I must admit, he improved.
He did. Well, he had a great time with the T20. I mean,
Much water on it?
scored a great rate. Scored enough runs. Bowling wasn't so great, but it didn't need to be.
It was good actually. Very nippy nobblers.
made Higgins look quick.
Well, he just didn't mind. He just
No.
got on the towards the
It
end.
doesn't matter. It's just,
He's got his 100. 103 not out now.
Mhm.
Well, I'll never get him out. I'll tell you what, I could go tomorrow, but I think it's going to end in a draw. Australia will balance out the game.
Well,
Yeah, they just got to hope it's one of those pitches which just completely deadens and Australia can't bowl us out.
What's the lead now? About 120?
146.
That's enough. And they've only lost 4 wickets,
Four
have
down
they?
is
It's
6.
still Wade and Smith in, isn't it?
Well, they're back 1 wicket.
What are you thinking though that if they could just, I mean, when they got Kawaja yesterday, I thought, great, this is it. They'll get rid of Head, Wade, and Payne nice and quickly. None of them are really kind of, they might score a 30 or a 40. They won't score any more than that. But then Unfortunately, if they all decide to score 30 or 40 and
Yeah.
Smith is at the other end, then you're stuffed.
That's what's happening at the moment. Ted made 51, Wade is 15 not out.
Just got no way of taking wickets.
I just think we're overconfident. I always think England cricket team are a bit arrogant. As a unit, they think they're better than they are, aren't they?
They needed Archer. I mean, Archer wasn't fit, but he's the only one of the seamers that could take wickets on this, because it's just slow. And Wokes and Broad, it's like watching them bowl down under again, where they just can't take any wickets. In the first, true, Broad bowled well in the first innings, but I think now that the pitch has slowed down,
well, Addy can't bowl. Addy's rubbish, isn't he? They shouldn't have played Addy.
17 overs, 1 for 72.
Yeah.
That shot he played, just left it. Third ball, just left a straight one.
gosh, that was dreadful.
I saw on the BBC website, Ali leaves ball and bowled. So I thought, well, have a look at this.
The thing is, he might as well just say to him, just go out and swing for the fences. He might at least score 10 that way. But if he tries to block, he's not even going to get 5.
No.
The touch he's in at the moment.
But during their career, everyone's out making a shot, aren't they?
True.
Maybe not.
But then
maybe
they
not
also
today,
didn't get
but-
dropped from the World Cup for
No.
for not scoring any runs either, and
Oh yeah.
only being passable with the ball.
I assume Wright is captain of Sussex as he's in his kit. Is he? He used to be.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
I would guess so.
We've got,
He's only playing white ball, isn't he, this year?
Andy Carey is the wicketkeeper.
Alex
Is it
Alex Carey, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Australian wicketkeeper for the World Cup. I'm surprised they left him out of the Ashes squad, to be honest, even though he's actually not got a great first-class record, but I thought that he would be behind Payne at least.
Well, Australia got 3 wicketkeepers playing today, haven't they? Wade, Payne and someone else.
Well, Bancroft can keep
Bancroft,
can't he?
yeah.
On his day. Needed. But yeah, I don't know. I just Carey's younger. I thought they knew what they were going to get from Wade, and it wasn't going to be Whereas Carey had a bit more of an X factor about him. I thought they were going to pick him, but they didn't. Wade will probably go on and score 70 or 80 this innings and keep his place. Yeah. Carey and then Rashid Khan overseas. Wise.
Who are Sussex overseas players today?
There'll be Rashid Khan and Carey.
Rashid Khan, the old Afghan bowler, isn't he?
Yeah.
Fast leg breaks,
Yeah.
difficult to get away.
Yeah, he's not been. He got taken to town by Mohammed Nabi, a fellow Afghan, the other night. It was about the high point for Kent. I think he got hit somewhere at 6-4-6 by Mohammed Nabi. So Afghans were probably going crazy over that. I mean, they listen in their droves.
I know they do, yeah.
I mean, if you see the Gloucestershire stream, it's all.
Kabul.
Well, it is, but it's all. Well, if not Afghanistan, probably will be Afghanistan today. But Pakistan, India,
They love
So
their cricket.
here's a question for you. Carey is an overseas wicketkeeper. How
Right.
many others can you name?
Overseas wicket keepers.
They played in England.
Well, as an
At the
overseas
moment,
player.
or any time.
None.
You have to take that question seriously because I don't think there are any. There might be 1 or 2, but I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to leave you. I'm going out to the middle now.
Okay, so we'll see you in about an hour then.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Well, I hope
Let's go biscuit.
Klinger's got all the right answers.
Oh, he's very reticent.
Yeah, mate,
Nice,
we're
though,
gonna
nice.
drop all of our players today. We're just gonna play a completely different 11.
So that's really good.
Yeah, he's got that kind of list, hasn't he? And then he speaks
That
a bit like
is
this, doesn't he?
I'm not.
That's spot on. Absolutely spot on.
Well, he's quite an easy person to whatever you call it.
Imitate.
Imitate. That's the one. Yeah.
And you've got him off to 2. Off to 2. Oh,
Yeah, look, we were thinking of dropping Smith, but I'm not sure we're gonna do.
We're gonna have a battle first, are we? We're gonna have a battle, I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, I like to chase, but I thought we've been playing crap lately, so we decided to bat first.
Jack Trevor bowl.
Yeah, we'll open the bowl with Jack Taylor, and I thought I might have a bowl as well. Oh dear.
Andy Ballard Smithy the other night.
Never know who's going. Is that on? Oh dear. What is it? Oh, it is nearly toss time actually.
It's about 4 minutes.
Camera's getting ready for it.
Where's Mr. Hunt?
Has he made his way down
I
yet?
don't know.
I've seen him emerge
There
yet.
he is, yeah. You can tell him either way, can't you?
Yeah. Hopefully.
Bit more paprika next time, guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully. We'll get some team news
Yes, it's in use.
before too long on cricket.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't.
Well, that bloke that was in here earlier is the one that does it all in there.
Actually, Adrian will
get-
know, won't
yeah,
he? He'll get the
get
info,
Adrian,
so
yeah.
we can at least.
But there's a thing that we can't, we're not allowed to have the info before it's gone out on the internet. Because they've got the rights to get it
Right.
first. That'd be stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
That doesn't apply to Sky, of course.
No.
Sky can have it any time they like.
Yeah.
But we're relegated down to third place.
Presumably, I mean, they're going to have to bring somebody in instead of
What if Smith doesn't?
Archer, aren't they?
Oh, right.
I'm thinking from a Sussex perspective.
Yeah, have you got the scorecard? It's underneath your computer.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so there is.
I don't know what you've made the site they printed.
They put in. Who have they put in?
Oh, they got that.
Oh, of course, I
Reece
think
Topley.
Briggs. Oh no, Briggs did play on it. Who they put? Oh, Jordan. Jordan only played the last game. That was his first game.
Okay.
So
what
actually,
we
I was
got?
thinking they might have to bring in Robinson, but they don't have to bring in Robinson.
Jordan Khan, Mills, Briggs, Topley.
Yeah, that'll be the team. So Archer out.
I did a
and
match.
Who didn't play last match then though? Because Archer played last match.
Topley.
Oh, Topley didn't play. He's only been on 4. Why did they leave him out? I suppose they maybe didn't need the bat. I don't know.
I did a match. I'm pretty sure it must have been at Southampton. When Don Topley,
Oh, yes.
his father,
Yes,
was commentating. Because
I think that may even have been the one that I did.
You were you that? Yeah, you might
Yeah,
have been,
and he was
actually.
laying into. He was laying into him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember I was on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
'cause
was. I was on commentary with him at the time.
He was being hit for 6 and 4 regularly.
Yeah.
Well, not regularly, but more often than he would
I
like
think
to
it
be.
was. Yeah, was it Taylor? I think it was Jack. There was sort of because they started really ordinary, and then I think Taylor got them up to something at least you could pretend they might defend, even though you knew they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, the unmistakable Bob Hunt.
Quizzing the umpire.
I know there's a Sunderland fan who I bumped into at the county ground about February time, January, February time. He lives in Gloucestershire. I don't know why he does Forest Green actually, because he lives only a couple of miles away from the law. But he follows Swindon probably because Swindon left the league.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyway, he said to me, will you be working with that Bob Hunt again? I said, yeah. He said, can't you get him off the air? He said, he's rubbish.
I will.
I said, there's nothing, I said, it's out of my hand, I'm just a scorer. I said, there's nothing I can do about it.
1, 2. That's fine. Okay then. Righty ho. Everything's tickety boo. Okay. Right.
Must be that this.
Hello.
This one's dead.
Absolutely fine. Okay. All right then. Are you going to carry on? Are you going to introduce me? Is it coming from a program or what?
I'll do a continuity link through to you.
Okay. What time? About.
Well, in a couple of minutes. Is that all right?
Well, okay. We can waffle for 10. Okay. Make it about 3.
It's just that I've got to do this.
Okay. Whatever you like. Whatever you like.
I'll do it. I'll make it a few minutes. I'll give you a few minutes.
Okay. Lovely job. Cheers. Bye.
I'll send program down along to you then.
Okay. 1, 2.
This one's working all right as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the charity?
Rainbow Trust.
Right.
Had it up here. Rainbow Trust Children's Charity.
Right. Okay.
So do we know why Mills is injured?
Injured. Sad, isn't it? Really. He bowls it ahead. Sky got a woman reported. It's disgusting.
What's that, sorry?
Sky got a woman here. Look. Behind that cameraman.
Right, so he's in for... Robinson's in for Mills. See if I can find out what number he is.
Every now and again, what we do on the mixtape is we take a song, we might find it on a piece of vinyl or something like that, we love this stuff, and we say, okay, well, this was quite a big hit in its time, in this particular case, 1989. How does it sound, 30 years on? Sometimes it's kind of like, sometimes it's, Here's something that you would not necessarily imagine could have a hit, which you didn't really select it. And you forget about it, and you very rarely hear it in the back catalogue. This is Debbie Harry, or as she wanted to be known at the time,
Just
Deborah.
give me the Wikipedia page, that's what I clicked on.
Want that man. Let's listen to this for 3.5 minutes and see what else this does.
Right.
25.
Just as I got there as well. Right. Robinson is 25.
What's it? The Rainbow Trust Foundation, is it?
Rainbow Trust Children's Charity,
Right.
it says here, but I've just called it a Rainbow Trust, I'm sure.
Hello. Absolutely fine. What did Tom Smith's wife die of? It wasn't cancer, was it? Something.
It was, oh God. Look on here.
She had 2 illnesses, I know.
Yeah, it was some... Oh, well, come on, news. It's not displaying properly. It was some chronic liver
Disorder,
problem,
yeah.
wasn't it? Oh,
Tom Smith's down there with his kids. Look, Tom Smith's down there with his kids.
Oh, yeah. It was both liver cancer and an...
Okay, yeah. I assume the ones to his right is...
On digital radio across the West, 10 for commentary on Vitality T20. County Bristol, it's Gloucestershire versus Sussex. Commentary led by
Yeah, very good afternoon and welcome to the county ground at Bristol. It's quite a sombre occasion, I have to say, although it should be mixed with pleasure as well, because it's the Rainbow Trust Foundation have almost taken over this game. It's all in memory of Tom Smith's wife, and I can see Tom Smith down there with his two little kids, both wearing a number 6 shirt, which is Tom Smith's shirt. And cricket is very much second place in many ways today. Ed Seaborn representing BBC Radio Sussex. However, you turn to the cricket, it's a game that Gloucestershire must win, having fouled up against Essex on Friday night.
Yes, well, both teams, I'm sure, will be keen to get the win today. It doesn't matter kind of so much for Sussex. I mean, of course, they would love to get the victory, but if they were to win today and Kent were to lose down at Beckenham, then Sussex would top the table in the early going. So that's a little carrot, I suppose, for Sussex. But as you said, for Gloucestershire, they've got this kind of strange situation where they're very much in contention, but they've only won one game and they've only lost one game.
Yeah, well, they haven't been good. They haven't been good recently. They tied against Glamorgan on Thursday, were, I'm afraid, comprehensively outplayed by Essex on Friday, and they really have got to win this one. It's very nice down there. There's a guard of honour, and I see the dads of the cricketers who have got children are with them. There's Graham Van Buren with his little daughter in front of him. I can see Chris Liddell with his son, and there's Tom Smith with his two, and Chris Dent, who's not playing today, wearing a very snazzy pair of shorts, with his two. And it's a very poignant occasion, is because they are desperately trying to raise money for the Rainbow Trust Foundation. They're doing great work with people whose children have been, one of their parents has been snatched away from them in an opportune moment. And here come the umpires, and it's good to see that the Sussex players also, they're not wearing the rainbow shirts, but they have got little sort of rainbow colours on their cheeks. Luke Wright had a little sort of I can only call it a little drawing, if you like, on their cheeks of the rainbow colours, and I think all the Sussex players have got that, and the umpires now are coming out, and there's Graham Van Buren, and there's Benny Howell as well with his little boy. Look at him, he's only about less than a year. So Benny Howell crouching down. This is great to see the families. It's all about families here today, isn't it? And they're hoping to raise a load of cash at the Rainbow Trust Foundation. And Luke Wright is leading the Sussex team out, and he's a nice chap. Is Luke Wright? He's having a little word with some of the chaps out there. The flames are up in the air, and they're coming out together. Are all the teams. They're coming out in a line. I would imagine they're remembering something that I don't know what they're going to have, but they are coming out in a line, and they're going to have, I'm sure they're going to have a minute's applause. Minute's applause, yeah. I was to say, yeah.
Just to say, Sussex do actually have a rainbow stripe on their shirts as well. They've got a special edition shirt. Yeah. As well as Gloucestershire. It's a little more similar to Sussex's normal shirt, but it is also a special edition as well.
Well, they're all coming together.
That's great. That both teams are now
they've got their
arms.
Now they've got Tom Smith in the front, which is where he should be, and they're sort of every other player is a Sussex player, is a Gloucestershire player, and the pictures are finished. Very, very free and easy that was, wasn't it? Nothing too ostentatious. That's how it should be. They're just raising money for the Rainbow Trust Foundation. They've got a stall down here. They're selling raffle tickets. I bought two. One for £5. I've never paid £5 raffle ticket in my life before. And one for £3. But they're coming around the ground, and they are raising a lot of money for this, which is a charity which helps children and helps the parents of children whose one part or another has been taken away. Serious illness, and they do a lot of good work. News in the middle, though, is that Gloucestershire have lost the toss and were put into bat by Sussex. And I spoke to Michael Klinger. He was a little bit bemused by that. He said, I thought that Sussex would probably bat. However, Gloucestershire have got to get a good start. They bowled particularly badly in the power play against Essex and Glamorgan. 58 and 59, wasn't it, Julian? I think, I remember. Yeah, 58, 59, and which is too many in the power play. They've got to keep that down. But Sussex, they're without Tymel Mills, which is a bit of a blow. They're without Joffer Archer, big blow. And Robinson has taken the place of Tymel Mills, who was injured this morning, apparently. Let's listen to Luke Wright at the toss. And here comes Michael Klinger and Miles Hammond. Now, Miles Hammond, I've got to say, although he can't see it, he's got his helmet on, he has really entered the spirit of things because he has coloured his hair. Yes, rainbow colours.
I'm not sure exactly what sort of main colour you'd describe it. I mean, it's a sort of mauvey colour, isn't it?
It is mauve. Well, they are mauve. I mean, the rainbow shirts are predominantly mauve. You have to say, I mean... Gloucestershire normally wear yellow. I think you said they've made 100 shirts of this rainbow hue, and some people in the crowd have bought them, and they're wearing them, and all the volunteers are wearing them. It is a great occasion. It's all about raising money for the Rainbow Trust. However, the cricket is as important in many ways because Gloucestershire have to win this one.
They do, and for Sussex, just to let you know, Ollie Robinson in for Tamal Mills. That's the only change, it's not the only change. Jofra Archer, of course, out, and Reece Topley is back in. So Sussex not losing too much really in the bowling stakes, at least how they performed so far this season.
We haven't got a scorecard. The first ball of the game is played, then moves away. So it is Reece Topley bowling. You can tell he's very tall. He's been suffered with injury. He was his career has been very much short-changed, hasn't it? Because he got a bad back injury, and he's only playing in the red ball competition. But he's a threat. He's a big threat.
Oh, he was fantastic on his comeback for Sussex. I think he took 2 wickets in his very first over.
Well, it's 0-0 at the moment. We don't want to tempt fate too much, do we? And Hammond gets a swish to the miss, and it turned away. It did move a little bit away to the left hand, and the keeper for Sussex is the Aussie
Alex Carey, yeah.
Alex Carey, yes.
I have to say I was a little surprised that Alex Carey didn't make the Ashes squad, but in the end, it looks as though Matthew Wade is doing just fine. So it looks like a decent decision maybe from the Australian selectors.
Third ball, they've taken away the slip now. I don't know whether they have slip with the first two, but he's moving it away is Topley. And they think about a single, but they decide against it. Yes, they do, because there's a missed field. In fact, the field, I'll tell you what happened then. 21, who's 21? Griggs. It hit a bowler's foot mark and it spun away. And so Klinger has the fourth ball, 1 without loss.
We've actually ended up starting early.
Have we?
Yeah, my clock says it's 2:29. We've already had a couple of balls.
Yes, that's right. That's
very
quite
prompt.
Right. Very prompt, yes, very prompt. It's a decent crowd here, Sunday afternoon. It's about, I say it's about half full, perhaps just a tad over. There's lots of members in. As Klinger faces his first ball, Topley bowls to him and hit on the pad, and it's a half-hearted appeal from Topley, and there's no run.
Yeah, well, that's what Topley has been doing. He gets the ball swinging into the right-handed batsman, and there aren't too many left-armers out there in county cricket who have the ability that Topley does to swing the ball early with the white ball.
Yeah.
Sam Curran's another one, but there's very few that get as much swing as Topley does with the new ball.
But if he overhits and go for a short, sharp single, and Klinger again was completely bemused by that one, 2 without loss.
Yeah, it's a good start there from Topley, isn't he? He's bowled it nice and full, given it a chance to swing, and the couple of balls that he's bowled to Klinger have been right on the stumps, so if Klinger misses, then Topley's going to be shouting as loud as he can towards the umpire. Yeah,
that's absolutely true. 2 without loss with the last ball, the first over. Now Hammond loves to swing it on the leg side if he can, free his arms, and that's a terrible shot, I've got to say, from Hammond, because it was just nothing more or less than a drive which didn't even connect. So 2 in the first over. Now the Bristol pitch on Friday, yes, it's got 205, and Gloucestershire finished 25 runs behind. It looks like, if that is anything to go by, that it's going to be 150, 160 pitch, would you say?
You'd think so, because used pitches here at Bristol, I mean, the scores you'd imagine would be going down. So, defending, I would say Gloucestershire would have to get a score on the board that would be in excess of 150 to be very comfortable.
160, 170, I think, would be about par here on this Sunday afternoon. There's a third man and that can square leg the 2 out as the second over is bowled.
Robinson bowling to Klinger. Klinger drops and runs into the cover area, so he will pick up a single, 3 without loss. And Robinson also does get the ball to swing, and he's also quite a tall man, so he can hit the pitch as well as get the ball swinging about a bit. But he's not played so much T20 cricket in his career, but his career is on the rise at the moment, having been with the England Lions. As here comes Robinson bowling to Hammond, and there's a swing on offer, but Hammond has done very well there. He's got it up and over extra cover, and it's away for the first boundary for Gloucestershire.
Well, I think he just took it on, didn't he? It was an inside-out shot over the offside. The offside is well populated, but he can only have 2 outside. There's a deep square leg on the third man, so that was a good shot from him. And I thought it was meant. It was meant.
Yes, I think it was. He dealt with the swing very well. I thought that it was going to beat his outside edge when he shaped up for the shot, but
then they thought the third man in there, got a sweep on the cover boundary.
Here comes Robinson over the wicket to the left-handed Hammond, and that's gone high up in the air. It's a man running back. Is it going to fall in between them? Is over his shoulder, takes the catch, and Sussex have their first wicket. Phil Salt running backwards from mid-wicket, just a skyer from Hammond, and well, he did very well there, did Salt, because he just about didn't have time to turn around, and he took a good catch over his shoulder, and that's the first breakthrough for Sussex. Robinson with a wicket back into the team, and Gloucestershire are 7 for 1.
Well, I mean, Hammond took it was a very, very ambitious shot. It's a great catch because it was in there such a long time. He had to turn, and he was racing, looking towards the leg side boundary, and he took it. Well, I mean, they should always take those skies, really, shouldn't they? But Hammond, disappointing, goes for 5, and it's 7 for 1.
The thing is, it was up a very, very long way, so you would expect him to catch it. It was just the fact that he had to twist and turn and couldn't take it facing the normal way. But yeah, very nicely judged by Salt. But it wouldn't have looked good if he dropped it, but at the same time it wasn't easy. It was one of those ones. So James Bracey is the new man for Gloucestershire, coming in at 3 again. He'll be off strike because Michael Klinger crossed, and here comes Robinson, bowls to Klinger, and that swing down the leg side. Oh, that's a good stop by Carey. That was very nearly 5 wide. In the end, it's just the 1. Just started it 2 straight there, did Robinson. It looked like he was trying for the in-swinger to Michael Klinger, and he just pushed it too far to the leg side, and it was still swinging away from Carey as he dived away to try and stop it, and in the end knocked it down very well. Here comes Robinson, bowls to Klinger, and in-swinger again, and it's a good delivery. And all Klinger can do is push it away to the man at short cover, and there's no run.
What Sussex have done, you see, they have normally have all the men on the edge of the circle. Now Luke Wright has come in, and they've got 2 or 3 who aren't on the edge of the circle, so they're stopping the 1 on the off and the onside.
Yeah, they can't drop and run as Robinson bowls. That's wide, cut away by Klinger. This might be a couple. No, it's not. It's very well fielded by Topley down there at third man, and because he's left-handed, throw away very quickly. So just the 1, Klinger to 3, 9 for 1. But yeah, like you say, both Salt, who was on the offside at short cover for Klinger, and Rashid Khan, both in very tight, both saving the single and also providing potentially a catching opportunity if the ball just stops a little in the wicket. But so far, it's been very tight lines and lengths from Sussex, and they've got the ball to move about. Here comes Robinson, bowls to the left-handed Bracey. It's a full, slower delivery, looked like there from Robinson, and Bracey just drives it straight to Rashid Khan at short cover, and that's the end of the over. So a great start for Sussex, 9 for 1 Gloucestershire after 2 overs. Yeah,
good start for the away side. I mean, Hammond will be cursing himself. I mean, he had a lovely little 4 over the offside, and I think, in fact, looking back, he tried to play it on the offside. He completely got it wrong. It went up on the leg side. It was up there for about 10 seconds it was, but it meant the fielder had time to adjust himself. Here is Topley coming to bowl to Klinger. It was on 3, 9 for 1, and that's a lovely. I thought Klinger moved his feet, tried the straight drive, got into position, but the ball just leapt up on him.
I thought he timed that better than he had off the bat, because he looked like he got himself in a good position. He gave himself just enough room to free the arms to drive it down the ground. But yeah, like you say,
I thought it was going to go straight past the bowler.
Yeah, exactly. So did I.
But no run. Top is doing well at the moment for Sussex, and he bowls again. And that's better. That's a better shot from Klinger. Straight drive. That was what he was trying to do before 4 runs.
Yeah, that's exactly the shot I thought he'd played to the previous ball. Great timing on that one, and that raced to the boundary in no time.
Well, we do need a big score here. I think you need someone to get a 70 on 80.
Well, that's the thing lately for Gloucestershire in a way. I mean, Higgins scored a 7 lower down the order, but the Gloucestershire are in need of somebody in the top 3 or 4 to get a big score.
It's going over the wicket now, and that's a very wide ball outside the off stump, and it is indeed given as a wide, quite rightly.
Yeah, just completely lost his radar all of a sudden there, Topley, and I suppose that just shows you it wasn't a bad ball that Klinger hit for 4, but it was the same length that Topley had been trying to bowl throughout the first over to Klinger as well, and you just put him off that length, show him that you're willing to hit him straight down the ground off that length, and Topley felt he had to do something different and missed considerably.
Well, he comes in again, does the former Essex man, and Klinger drives into the covers and it's fielded no run. I mean, that's indicative of the field they had, because the fielder was in from the circle and it stopped the one. If he'd have been out, they could have gone for a cheeky single. No cheekiness there.
No, well, it's good captaincy, I think, to have those men in. All too often you see the batting side can just get the scoreboard moving with just a few singles, and then the boundaries come, and all of a sudden a big over starts from that.
Topley again bowls to Klinger, and he's caught, and Klinger is caught. Well, it was a bumper, it was a bouncer. Klinger looks a bit disappointed by that, I have to say. It seemed to me he did get a touch on it.
It certainly touched something, because it looked like it deviated. But like you say, Klinger just sort of stood there for it wasn't a sort of absolute disbelief, how could you have given me out? But at the same time, it wasn't a kind of convinced sort of, maybe he was just looking back down at the pitch wondering why it bounced so much. But
I have to say, I thought he got a touch to it. Julian Clark, did you? Yeah, I got a touch to it. And Topley found him out with a bouncer, so they're in trouble now. 14 for 2. Bracey and Cobain, both batsmen on naught. And Klinger hasn't had a good start in this T20 campaign. I have to say, he's gone for 7. Doing a lovely straight drive. Now, Cobain is an anathema, isn't he, really? He can either be brilliant, he's got hundreds in the T20, or a slow starter.
Yep, he has taken a while to get going last couple of games, hasn't he? And he's not going to find it easy coming in against what has been a very tight Sussex opening spell.
Yeah, he's facing now, Cobain, and that's a good shot for first ball. Lazily played, almost laconically played by Cobain, outside the off stump 4. That's better, 18 for 2.
Well, that is exactly not where to bowl to Ian Cobain, really. He's just given him a lot of width, and he's given him, well, I mean, it was fairly short as well, even though it was more of a back foot punch from Cobain rather than a cut shot, but it just wasn't the right line or length from Topley there. Nonetheless, 1.5 overs, 1 for 11 so far. It's been a good start.
He's going over the wicket now, and thinking about a short, sharp single, but that would have been foolishly done. End of the third over, 18 for 2. So, disappointing for runs and for wickets, really. They can't, I always say in the power play, I'm sure you do as well, Ed, if you lose 2 or more wickets in the power play, it's an uphill struggle, isn't it?
Particularly if you lose 3. I mean, yeah, 3 wickets and fewer than 36, and you're probably looking at, well, single figure percentage chance of winning the match, I would say. So from
they're halfway
point
now.
Of view, they need some quicker runs. So Robinson to bowl, and he'll deliver to Bracey now, and Bracey tries to force that one away to the offside, but it's straight to Danny Briggs at backward point, and there's no run. So Robinson into his second over. No bowling changes so far. I mean, I think that's a good decision. Also, you're still getting the ball swinging. Why change it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And very often you'll see a side just kind of change it for the sake of it. But Sussex,
Luke Wright's thinking everything's going well.
Exactly. No need to change anything up. Here comes Robinson and bowls, and that's worked away fine by Bracey, but he's not going to beat Topley at short, fine leg, and they just pick up a single, shy at the stumps from Topley, but comfortably through to the other end. Cobain, 19 for 2.
Good captaincy from Luke Wright. He brought Topley up to that edge of the circle. Now Topley's going back to Cobain the right hand down to third man, and again, only 1 run on offer.
Actually bringing third man, they decided they were going to send him back. The third man's coming up
now,
for Cobain, and they're going to have a man out at deep cover as Robinson up to the wicket and bowls to Cobain. Nice full straight delivery, and Cobain just pushes it back down the ground. No run. They have bowled it full of Sussex. I mean, so often you see that kind of full length going in the power play, but it just shows you've just got to be intelligent about what the ball's doing out there. If there's some swing on off it, then you do bowl full, but if there isn't, then that's basically what then turns out to be the slot in this format. Robinson bowling to Cobain. He's guided it in the end down to third man. It's going to be 4, so a second boundary for Cobain. It just bounced a bit on him, but Cobain dropped his hands nicely on it and ran it away to that, what is quite a short boundary down to the flats there. And a second boundary for Cobain, 23 for 2, Gloucestershire.
Yeah. Now, the weather might play a part in this. It's okay now, but there is a threat of some rain coming up from the west. We shall hope it misses us here at the county ground.
Robinson, right arm over the wicket, bowls, and it's a straight delivery again, just defended to that man at short cover. And again, that's another example of where if the fielder is back, they would have been able to sneak a quick single there. So, still bowling tightly is Robinson. And yeah, it has just clouded over a little bit since we started, but at the moment it looks
it's fine.
Pretty hopeful. Live T20 Blast here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex, as here comes Robinson and bowls to Cobain, whips that one into the leg side. There's 2 men out on the leg side now for Cobain, and so they've got that plenty covered as Rashid Khan fields it at deep mid-wicket, and another single, so Cobain to 9. 24 for 2, end of over number 4, so still just going along at bang on a runner ball here, Gloucestershire, but no more. However, Cobain is timing the ball pretty well since he's come out there, so looking a little more dangerous. And Sussex are now, I suppose unsurprisingly, because Topley you would think would bowl at the death as well, they're going to make their first bowling change. It will be Chris Jordan from the...
Well, he's no slouch, is he? Reminder, if you want the football, Bristol City v Leeds on FM and Freeview channel 719 on BBC Radio Bristol, if you fancy your football and not your cricket. As here's Jordan, comes in to bowl to Cobain, I beg your pardon, and he goes for a short, sharp single. The ball is thrown at the stumps and it misses, but he would have got home anyway with Cobain. 25 for 2.
Yeah, it was a good call there, and Luke Wright, the fielder at mid-off, did all he could. Just the first single that I would say Gloucestershire have really kind of nicked off Sussex that way. Yeah.
Well, I always say there are singles on offer. However, if you don't want to gamble your life away in the first power play, do you? You don't want to take on too many risks.
Well, the first power play should really be about hitting boundaries,
yeah,
shouldn't it?
Yeah. How many have we got? 2 boundaries, Julian? 3? 3 boundaries? 4. Jordan bowls to Cobain, and that's up in the air, and he's dropped it. He's dropped it. That was a simple catch, actually. I have to say, I'm not quite sure the fielder is out there. Rashid Khan, yes. Well, it wasn't. Well, I've got to say that was a drop. That was a straightforward chance. He had to move a little bit to his back, and he caught it, and then he just dropped it. Well, that was inexplicable, really.
I mean, he was moving to his wrong side, but at the same time, that ball was not travelling at all. I mean, it just looped up off a leading edge, and it should have been taken comfortably.
The excuse would be it was spinning, he would say. As he bowls to Bracey Jordan, that's whacked away to the fielder on the leg side boundary, only 1 run.
Yeah, can't push the fielder there, but I would say, I watched Gloucestershire's game against Glamorgan. I don't know if you felt the same, but I felt as though they maybe could have pushed the field a little bit more for some twos.
Yeah, they could have done. I thought they were a bit stubborn, if you like, on that. They got a point, an away point, a tie. Tied it. Cobain is facing, he's on 11, 27 for 2 in the 5th over, and Cobain just waits and turns it away behind square. That's a good little shot from Cobain. It's not going to reach the boundary, but they make it for 2. And the throw comes in.
Yeah, good gap found there by Bracey. They've got short fine.
Cobain it was. Bracey
got a couple, yeah.
Sorry, Bracey's 25, of course he is. And he's a left-hander. Apart from that, I got it right, didn't I? Perfect, yeah.
Nailed it, as they say.
Jordan to Bracey. Bracey on 4 now, 29 for 2. As some people watching from the flats having their Sunday lunch, and Jordan comes in and bowls to Bracey again. And Brady just, again, an example of exactly why they can't take a single, because Luke Wright has come in and stopped it. Simple as that. Easy.
And the thing is, they can keep them there because Sussex are bowled so tight to the stumps.
Yeah.
If you start bowling wide, then you've got to put him back on the circle because he's more of a boundary saver. Here, he can afford to be a single saver because Sussex have bowled right at the stumps and not over-pitched or bowled too short either.
29 for 2, Gloucestershire. Oh, that's up in the air. That's going to be a 6, I'm sure. Is it going to be a 6 or out? It's a 4. It was in the air a long time, and it plugged from where I'm sitting about a foot in front of that boundary. So a great shot from Bracey. I've never seen him play that before. 33 for 2. He's normally a very stickler, isn't he, James Bracey? But he got on with it then, and it's 33 for 2. So the 6th over coming up, and they should get around 40, which is, it's not good, but it's better than bad.
Yeah, I mean, Sussex deserves credit for the way that they've bowled, but also, if they've assessed conditions out there and decided that the pitch is not coming on to the bat as well as it could, then also just being, 40 for 2 rather than trying to risk being 50 for 3 or 4
Absolutely.
is the better thing to be and have wickets in hand later on, because Gloucestershire's middle order has been very good the last couple of games. So Robinson will bowl a 3rd over, and he's in now to Cobain and flicks this one hard through mid-wicket. There's going to be no stopping that. That's away for 4. So Cobain with another boundary, and the timing again from Cobain. He didn't really bother to keep it down too much because there's nobody really anywhere near that. There's nobody between Rashid Khan, who's a very straight mid-wicket and deep square leg. And although Delray Rawlins is very quick out there on the ropes, he's not stopping that.
No, he isn't. It's good to see all the crowd on that right-hand side in the open stand have their 4s and 6s. They were waving in the air then to celebrate that boundary.
So Robinson, how does he come back? Bowls to Cobain. It's on the pads, and they're going to come through for a leg bye. That's a good call from Bracey there, because he was running to what would have been the danger end, and Cobain just hesitated a little bit, but it didn't matter because he wasn't the man that was under pressure there. So a good call from Bracey for a leg bye, and Sussex will get Bracey back on strike. 38 for 2 are Gloucestershire, so they've already guaranteed at least to be better than that run a ball figure, which is always very important in the power play minimum. Here is Robinson, bowls to Bracey. Bracey flicks this one away fine. This is going to be at least 2. It's running away down to the backward square leg boundary. Is it going to make it? There's a good piece of relay fielding down there, and they've managed to limit it to 2. So a good effort. Topley was the man who got the throw back in off the relay, and so Bracey moves to double figures, 40 for 2.
Now he's pushing him back. Robinson, I'm going to look at this. I think that fielder at long leg is standing outside the circle.
He is at the moment. The point of delivery is where it matters, so we'll watch that. Robinson bowls round the wicket. That's short, clubbed away by Bracey, but he's hit it straight to the man at deep square leg, so it's only a single. And there's a big gap at mid-wicket there, and Bracey just couldn't find it, even though he timed it very nicely.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. We can use floodlights here today.
Ah, yes.
We can, and there's an hour leeway, so the game should finish at 5:15.
It could be very handy if it gets a little bit gloomy and a little shower
lights
comes
can
along.
be used.
Hopefully it won't. As Robinson bowls, that's down the leg side, clipped away by Cobain. That's a poor ball from Robinson, really. It's one of the first times that Sussex have bowled really a boundary ball, and pretty much any batsman at this level is going to put that away to the backward square leg boundary for another 4. So Cobain, 4 boundaries now in his 19, and Gloucestershire 45 for 2.
Well, I think now this is a slightly better than average power play.
Yep, this over is changing things dramatically. It's how many off it so far, Julian? 12 off it, and there's still 2 balls to go. One ball to go. So last ball of the power play. They've got 2 men out on the leg side boundary now as Robinson bowls to Cobain. He bowls it short, right where you'd expect him to bowl it with 2 men out on the leg side. That's good thinking there from Sussex. Just limit them to the single, get out of the power play, and that's what they've done. So Cobain moves to 21 here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex. Gloucestershire are 46 for 2 after the power play, and I'd say honours even to just about Gloucestershire in the end, that power play.
Well, apart from the wickets, of course, but Cobain and Bracey have settled in nicely, I think. And then they got the big hitters in the middle order to come. So I think these two should just consolidate a little bit. Yeah, stay around for... Well, they could stay the whole time. I wouldn't mind that, of course. And there's now... Oh, dear, look who's coming on. Oh, dear, Rashid
Khan.
Rashid Khan. He bowls... I've never seen anything like it. He bowls fast leg breaks, doesn't it? That's his stock
the
ball.
Closest I think I've ever seen to him is Shahid Afridi, but the thing with Afridi only really bowled top spinners, whereas Rashid Khan can get the ball to turn both ways, and his wrong one is like nothing I've ever seen before. It's the weirdest grip ever. I mean, if you ever get a chance to watch it on TV, do I can't really describe it. I mean, I don't really know how he bowls it even, but...
Well, he's good, and he's got fielders all around the boundary. As he comes into bowl now to Cobain, and Cobain just plays it to long on, and there's a single.
The problem with facing Rashid Khan is he bowls so quickly that you cannot use your feet against him, or at least you have to be lightning quick if you're going to use your feet against Rashid Khan. So he forces you to start with to play him from the crease, which as a spinner is a pretty handy weapon to have.
Yeah, slipping as well. It's Bracey facing. He's on 11, 47 for 2 in the 7th over. And a short, sharp single is taken. Oh, that's poor. And in fact, Rashid is not the best fielder, I would say. And he's sort of... The ball was thrown to his end. He put out a rather vague arm. And luckily, someone was backing up.
Yes, he escorted it out to Topley, who had been very alert and moved to a sort of mid-off position from his original long-off. So good work from Topley there.
Cobain faces. And dead bats that. Nothing to do with that. I mean, that's the problem with this. You just do not know what's going to come out of his arm, do you?
No, and if
Could be
there's
orange.
any turn on offer, he is a nightmare to face. It just needs it to turn a millimetre.
Well, that's a single taken as the fielder comes in from the cover boundary. I just think you've got to treat him with the utmost respect and don't try and hit him out the ground.
Yeah, you've got to pick your areas, really, haven't you? I mean, at the moment, if Bracey were to go, say, over extra cover, there's a huge area out there.
Well, this time he waits. This time there could be 2, actually. There should be 2. Run for it. That's good running. Oh! Well, Salt came in and I presume he probably stopped 2, but that was Gloucestershire's fault against Glamorgan, as you were saying. They didn't run the first one very hard. 50 for 2, though. That's all right. In the 7th over. So about, I think, 170, 175 will probably be the ultimate score, and that's pulled away by Cobain. He got himself in a right muddle, actually. He tried to play it to mid-wicket, and it ended up going to long on. End of the over, a decent one, 51 for 2. How many of that, Jude and Clark? 5. Not bad.
And that's the other thing, that last ball about Rashid Khan, he can get away with bowling it short, where a lot of spinners can't, because again, it's because of the speed and the quickness through the air that he bowls with. It just skids onto the batsman. They're preparing to play a big pull shot over mid-wicket, and they just can't get hold of it because it's onto them much quicker than they're used to. They're used to the kind of eyes lighting up because the spinner who's bowling slower
Spinner's on
bowls
now.
it halfway down, and you have a lot of time to pick where you're going to hit it. So yeah, spin from both ends. Danny Briggs, who opened the bowling in the last match against Kent Spitfires, but he's going to come in here to bowl over number 8, round the wicket to the right-handed Cobain, and he tosses the first one up. Cobain just pushes that one straight to right at short cover, and again still keeping that fielder in at short cover, even though we're well out of the power play and this partnership's just beginning to build a little. Briggs bowls to Cobain, holds that one back nicely, and Cobain tries to force it down the ground, but hits it straight back to Briggs. So 2 dot balls, and we'll see whether Cobain feels the pressure after that. Next one, again, just straight back to Danny Briggs. He's trying to play that down to long on, I think, but he just can't get enough wrist work to get it away from Briggs at the moment. So at the moment, it's Briggs and Cobain playing catch with each other. As Briggs bowls, this time Cobain will get a single. That's all out to Delray Rawlins on the deep mid-wicket boundary. So excellent start this from Briggs, and Bracey. Now Bracey facing his first ball, and Gloucestershire Well, they probably would love a boundary off the last couple of balls here. So here's Briggs bowls to Bracey. It's on the pads, and Bracey's just missed it. Just looked like a fairly straightforward help into the leg side, but must have been something that happened to that, and then Bracey can't get any bat on it. Here comes Briggs and bowls, and Bracey shapes up to sweep. There's a big shout for MBW, and it's turned down in the end. He left them hanging for quite a while there, did the umpire. I think it's Mike Burns at this Bristol Pavilion end, but maybe just sliding across Bracey.
The most important thing about that over, only one run off it. So they've tied him down a lot. 12 overs remaining now. And if Rashid can tie him down from the Ashley Down Road end, when he's going to bowl. Do you think Rashid is going to bowl 4 overs on the spin?
I would imagine they'll save. They won't save him for the death, but they'll probably, I would imagine, take him off and bring him back on at sort of over 12, 13 kind of area. When the batsmen are starting to hit out, or have to start to hit out, I would say, although they do now.
Rashid bowls. Cobain goes back into his crease, and it goes for 4. The fielder out there, who's number 8 on his back. Can you tell me what that is?
I think it's Rawlins out there.
He just
all the way over to
pulled
the
up.
other side of the field.
He pulled up, didn't he? He pulled up as the ball was going past him. That's 4 runs to Cobain, 56 for 2.
I mean, it could just be our angle, but it looked like he thought he was going to dive for it, and he just never did.
Cobain again, but that's a good ball played back to the bowler. Now, Cobain is using his feet well, but it's difficult to get any angle off Rashid Khan, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you really have to play him down the ground. You've almost got no other option the way he bowls.
Well, there's going to be a possible 2 there, but again, they just saunter the first, which is disappointing.
It is. Like you say, they just sauntered through. It might not have been 2 there, but you're never going to know if you don't run the first one hard.
Exactly. And of course, you can put pressure on the fielder, make a mistake picking it up, etc., etc. And it's Bracey facing on 13, 57 for 2, and hit on the pad, and another appeal, but it's turned down by the ump.
I think it's Gunnar Gould. Got Gunnar Gould out there today with Mike Burns, according to the scorecard at any rate. Nice to see Ian Gould doing some county cricket.
Yeah, former Middlesex keeper, of course. And that's played nicely by Bracey, and it's going to be 4 runs. Yeah, well played. He used his feet tremendously then, did Bracey, and he made a ball down the offside, and he used his feet and just flicked it through a wide mid-wicket position. There were 2 fielders out there, but it dissected them. Or should it be bisected?
If it dissected, we'd have a frightful mess out there.
Yeah. I always get that wrong. Rashid Khan again. And that's up in the air. That's going to fall short of the fielder out there, and it's just a single. So this over has become quite expensive in the context of things. 62 for 2. 10 off it.
Over.
Well, see, that makes up for the other one from Danny Briggs, doesn't it? Bracey on 18, Cobain on 29, men out Klinger for 7, and Miles Hammond for 5.
That's the prime example, that over, at what Gloucestershire did of how to play Rashid Khan. You can't try and overhit against him. You've got to try and find the gaps, rather, because if you try and swing too hard and try and clear the ropes against him, you'll just get rushed, whereas Gloucestershire, shorter swings of the bat and getting the placement right. Danny Briggs to start a new over here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex as he bowls to Bracey, and that's on the pads. Bracey turns his one to the leg side. Now they think about 2 again, but they're not going to get it. Now that was a good throw. That was a good throw off balance. It's Salt out there. Salt seems to have been absolutely everywhere out there, and he managed to stop them from coming back for the second there.
Well, you put your best fielders where the ball's more likely to go, don't you?
Exactly. Briggs bowls to Cobain, and there's a half shout for everybody. Oh, there's a mix-up here, and going to get back. They're going to get back fairly comfortably in the end, because Rashid Khan was on the circle at point, and swinging out from behind the stumps Carey, but neither of them could get there in time. That was a disaster averted there for Gloucestershire. Again, on the pads, work to the leg side. Now Rawlins is going to... Oh, Rawlins dives past it, but fortunately Chris Jordan was there to do the backing up, as it were. So they end up getting 2. They might have come back anyway there.
It was a mistake by Rawlins. Hello, Julian. 50 partnership, 41 balls. Thanks, Julian.
65 for 2, Gloucestershire, as Briggs bowls to Cobain. Again, Cobain turns it softly into the leg side. This time, they don't even really think about the second. But, of course, Chris Jordan is one of the best outfielders in, maybe not just in England, but around the world as well. He is tremendous out there, not just taking the catches, but he covers the ground so quickly and has a great arm as well. 66 for 2, as Bracey faces up to Briggs. And Bracey goes for a scoop shot, and he's got that one away fine. I think that's going to run away. It's a really nice shot there from Bracey. Just a classy scoop sweep shot, and it runs away quickly to the fine leg boundary for 4.
Can't field that, can you? I mean, always in 2010, there are going to be gaps, and the batsman looks around and thinks, well, what can I exploit? And Bracey exploited that extremely well.
Yeah, lovely touch there. Now he comes down the pitch, smacks it to cow corner. Well, he hasn't actually timed it as well as I thought, and it's actually only going to be a single. Salt out there again with the fielding. That ends over number 10, and at the halfway stage, it's 71 for 2, Gloucestershire.
Yeah, halfway. Well, I always think at halfway you go. I always think after 12 overs you double your score. So it's going to be about 165, 170. You would hope if Gloucestershire can carry on like this.
Well, Gloucestershire have got to be targeting 10 and over now, haven't they? They've got to be targeting a minimum of 10 and over with 8 wickets in hand, and the power of Ryan Higgins, Jack Taylor, Benny Howell still to come.
And Andrew Tye.
They've got plenty of batting in the hutch, so what they don't want to be doing is still sitting there going at 7.5s with 5 overs left to go and still 7.
No, they should be aiming for 9 or 10 and over. However, Chris Jordan's going to bowl. Now, the beauty of Chris Jordan is he's a great bowler. The disadvantage is if he gets a snick, it goes for 4, doesn't it? And there's no third man and no long leg as well, as Jordan comes into bowl to Bracey, who's on 24, 71 for 2. And Bracey waits and plays a beautiful shot out towards mid-off and mid-on, I should say, long on. And it's just a single, though. That's the trouble. You've either got to play it straight to the fielder for a 1 or just take it off a bit and try and go for 2.
There would have been probably a lovely shot in the championship.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. Probably. So no slip they got. No slip. They got a third man is going back. There's no long leg, but third man is quite wide. Who is 96 down there?
David Visa.
He's got long hair.
He has got long hair.
Very long hair, yes.
It seems to sort of come and go, David Visa's hair.
Here is Jordan, who's comes into bowl to Cobain, is on 32, and that's a terrible hoik of a shot. That was very agricultural, you say. He tried to play it up towards, I'm sure he tried to play it up towards mid-on or mid-off, but then it came out the bottom of his bat and just squirted about, 15, 20 feet away to square leg, who picked it up.
From that Ashley Down road end, I would say that cow corner boundary might be quite difficult. I mean, you're going to have to nail it to clear it if you're Cobain, that is, rather than Bracey. It looks like, I mean, it's a short hit straight, and I'm not sure it's too long towards mid-wicket for the right-hander, towards the car park, but just in that corner there, the cow corner, it's quite a long heave that's going to be needed to clear that, I would say.
Oh, it can be done. I've seen it done many times.
Can, with the way they can hit the ball.
Bracey on 25, 73 for 2, and that was a good ball from Jordan. He dug it in short, and Bracey sort of played it a bit too early, and the ball just rocketed past him. However, that is 1 for the over.
They haven't bowled too many short balls, Sussex, but when they have, it's been
Klinger,
very
didn't
effective.
They got Klinger caught behind.
Klinger out off what seemed to be a top edge, and it's just been a shock tactic that they've used. Most of the time, it's just been pretty full and very straight.
Here's Jordan again. Bracey on 25. And, oh dear, that was a great bit of fielding. You still about Chris Jordan being a great fielder. He bent down very quickly off his own bowling and turned to throw it at the striker's end. But he didn't let go because they got back in time. But that certainly kept a single off the scoreboard.
Yep, St Cobain scurrying back at any rate, and also with his left hand as well. Yeah, very sharp from Jordan, but
they got
come to expect it.
The long off is in, comes in now, so that he's not deep, and that's a good shot from Bracey, and it's going to be 4 runs. Well, it's sat up from Jordan, and it was meat and drink for a batsman of Bracey's calibre, and that is the Bristol pitch, isn't it? If it sits up, it stays sat up.
Yeah, well, it's the first short ball that Sussex have bowled that has, as you say, just stopped. And I think maybe because he'd already used up one for the over, he was conscious possibly of not conceding the no ball, and so maybe just didn't quite put sort of, absolute 100% into it. And the problem is, as you say, on this Bristol pitch, if you don't do that, it will just sit up. And Bracey, big gap at mid-wicket, picked it nicely.
29 to Bracey. Jordan bowls to him again, and that skids through very low. Good ball to end the over. 77 for 2, 9 overs to go.
Yeah, well, despite that boundary, only 6, I think, off the over. Yep, 6 off the over. Thanks, Julian. So Jordan threw 2 overs for 15. And again, Gloucestershire still hanging around that 7 and over mark. And
now, what's happening down here? The keeper's got I think he's got a stitch on the top of his eye, because I noticed he was rubbing his eye, and now the physio's come out. I think he's probably done something to it, like a little quick steri stitch or something. Perhaps a bit of blood is shown.
I don't know. More medical knowledge than I have, Bob, probably.
No, I haven't. None at all. I'm sure he had some. I'm sure he had a stitch put on, a steri stitch or something, hasn't it? Well, it must to stop the bleeding, isn't it? You can't have any blood out there.
It's Briggs then. Briggs will bowl his 3rd over. He's bowled 2 overs for 10 so far, but I would suggest that Gloucestershire have to be going after this over now with the bowling attack that Sussex have towards the death. Still 2 overs of Rashid Khan to go, and Danny Briggs is not bad to have as a weak link in your bowling attack, and he certainly isn't that. That's on the pads. Cobain tries to work it leg side, but again doesn't get any bat on it.
He was hurried, wasn't he?
Yeah, and this is the thing with Briggs. I mean, you think you can target him because he doesn't have the sort of mystery spin that Rashid Khan's got, but at the same time very difficult to get away. This is shorter, and Cobain runs this one to Rashid Khan. There's going to be a shot at the non-striker's end, and home safely was Cobain. The direct hit might have been interesting, probably just home.
Yes, home,
but
I think.
Again, just trying to use the pace, but there wasn't any from Briggs really, so hence why straight to the fielder for only 1 run. 78 for 2, Cobain to 34. Bracey facing, moves across his stumps, and that's going to be a wide, and they don't manage to get through for an extra one as Visa does the fielding at short, fine leg. So that's the one where you just need a little tickle on it if you're Bracey. Misdirected from Briggs, and maybe just saw Bracey moving across, but just fired it a bit too far down the leg side. Next one is a low full toss, but no elevation. Bracey just can't get underneath it, and sort of bottom of the bat down to Jordan at long off, and a single taken. 80 for 2 here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex. So still tight over from Briggs, no boundaries as he bowls now to Cobain. Short cut, but again straight to the man at deep cover, and they're getting the timing, but it's all along the ground.
It's ones or fours, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, it's all along the ground and straight to fielders all too often, really, from these two. Briggs bowls to Bracey. That's gone high up in the air. This should be a simple catch for Visa at short, fine leg, and he takes it. So there's the 3rd wicket for Sussex. Bracey, well, he had to go for it. It was the time really where Gloucestershire needed a boundary. It wasn't quite hit out or get out, but it almost reached that stage with Gloucestershire still going on around about 7 and over. Just tried to clear the mid-wicket boundary with a slog sweep straight up in the air, and David Visa takes a pretty comfortable catch at short.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good catch. I thought Bracey, he thought he was getting a little bit becalmed, and he thought, right, I've got to have a go here. And it does bring out Ryan Higgins, which is gets a nice little round of applause as James Bracey. Well done him. 81 for 3. Now, Ryan Higgins has been in the rich vein of form with bat and ball.
Yep, he is. He's a very dangerous player, and he can get going very quickly as well, which is what Gloucestershire will need him to do. It doesn't take too many balls before he's already at least finding gaps, and then, for somebody who's not, I mean, obviously he's bigger than I am, but most people are, but he's not built sort of...
No, he's not. He's not stocky.
You'd think a
traditional big hitter, but he has so much power in him. Briggs then to bowl. It's Cobain on strike, and Cobain turns this one into the leg side. It's not even going to make it anywhere near the 30-yard circle, and Briggs does the fielding. So a single to end the over, and is that 4 or 5 off that over from Briggs there? 5 off the over and the wicket. So far from being the over that Gloucestershire looked to target, Briggs has brought things back even further for Sussex. 82 for 3.
8 to go.
And 8 overs left.
We're looking at 150 now, probably 160 if you're lucky.
Yeah, 160, 10 and over.
Rashid Khan is continuing. He's the 3rd over, isn't it, Julian? Yes. Of course he did. Chris Jordan bowled the last over, exactly right. Cobain has taken the strike, 82 for 3. It's getting pretty dark here now. I don't think they'll be playing a county championship match. The lights aren't on. Cobain. Now this is where they should get to. Now Higgins can turn. No, he says no. I can understand why. The fielder had the ball in his hands, but they've got to start taking those risks, I would have thought.
And this is the other thing about Sussex as well. The runs that they save combined out there on the leg side. Jordan and Rawlins, they're both rapid out there.
Higgins faces and gets a good ball on the stumps. They only play it back to the bowler.
Yeah, I still think minimum 150, but even from here, because, I mean, Sussex chased down 150 odd against Kent.
Yeah.
Quite comfortably the other night.
Well, that's Higgins gets off the mark by just playing a little dab shot out to mid-wicket. Delroy comes into field.
But again, it's the power play, isn't it? You go back to the power play, losing 2 wickets, and although they pulled it back a bit towards the end, it just didn't set them up well.
Cobain faces a little shot played to backward point. They feel there's no run. You see, this is going to be another over where there's 5 or 6. It's just not enough. You would think, unless Cobain can go wild. Well, he gets himself a single. That's fine, but not good enough, really. 85 for 3.
And the other thing is, you look down at the bowling attack, even without Mills and Archer, who do you target now? Because Robinson has only 1 over left anyway.
Khan bowls again, and Higgins swipes it before. Now that was a great shot from Higgins. I'm sure he looked at the gap on the leg side and decided to exploit it. Well, that has released some of the pressure. 89 for 3, 7 overs to go.
Yep, important last ball of the over. They're the last ball of the over so often big, but still actually not a bad over at all from Sussex's perspective. 7. So even with the boundary, still pretty good from a Sussex perspective. They take 7 and over from here, I think, all day. And
so they would.
But Higgins, again, that's what it was, his 3rd ball, I think, and already finding a gap and with some power as well. So Cobain on strike, Briggs bowling. Briggs again holds this one back, and still they've got that man up saving the single at short cover, and he saves another run there, does Luke Wright. As Briggs bowls to Cobain, sweep shot in the air, and it's going to go for 6, I think, just.
'Tis 6.
Yep, 6. So Cobain slog sweep, didn't clear the rope by very much, but enough. So Cobain moves to 44. It's the first 6 of the innings.
Yeah, it is.
And Gloucestershire to 95 for 3.
Yeah, those red 6s shown by the crowd on the far side.
Here comes Briggs then. Bowls to Cobain, and again it's that one that he just bowls a little bit shorter but doesn't give him any pace to work with, and it's just guided down to long off where Robinson does the fielding. 96 for 3. Cobain 45. We'll see whether Higgins fancies a go as well. Bowls, and well, he tries to play a sort of extremely wristy shot, but in the end it's just gone straight back to Briggs, who's already turning again and bowling. And Higgins slugs around. That's a huge shot. That is miles back. That's gone halfway up the mound stand out there, and the boundary is way off the rope. Not off the rope, off where the mound stand starts. That is a giant 6 from Ryan Higgins, and the 100 is up for Gloucestershire.
That's what you need. A couple of shots like that. Cleared the rope by 30 yards.
Briggs then bowling to Higgins, and Higgins drives, but he picks out the man at short cover again. So dot ball to end the over. Nice comeback after getting hit for the 6 by Danny Briggs. And at the end of 14 overs here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex, 102 for 3 Gloucestershire, and just beginning, well, more than beginning, with a couple of 6s in that over to get things going. But the thing is now, that is Briggs bowled out, so 1 for 28.
Yeah,
so
well
still,
him.
despite going for, what, 13 off his last over, 13, still pretty decent figures, 7 and over in this format.
Rashid Khan's last over being bowled from the Ashley Down Road in. Bowling to Cobain is on 45, 102 for 3, 6 overs remaining in the Gloucestershire innings, and gets himself probably 2. They should come back for 2. No, they should again.
That is a definite 2. I mean,
yeah, they should have come for 2 then. That's a bit of a weak link about Gloucestershire's batting. They do run the first one half. They turn. There's a sort of hesitancy about. Shall we go for
there's
second
no aggressive. You can turn aggressively because the throw's not imminent.
No. And again, they go. That's a good ball. And dot ball as well. Played to backward point. Fielded.
I mean, of course, you do have to say it's easier from up here than it is down there. Of course it is, but at the same time, it is a sort of a running theme that we've noticed.
Oh, that's up in the air. It's going to fall short. It's going to get caught. He's gone. Now, that was Higgins frustratingly, you see. He got frustrated by the ball before, and Higgins has gone for an 11. It's a cameo, but it's not enough runs on the board. And Higgins, for once, has failed. It looked like it was going to clear the boundary, but then it went straight up in the air as a routine catch, and he's furious with himself. He kicks his bat as he stalks off.
Well, he was looking to smash a windscreen out there in the car park, I think. He was winding up for it, but it's another wicket that Sussex have taken off a top edge, and a comfortable catch for Laurie Evans. And, well, they did drop one catch earlier, but the Skyers, they've taken quite
They practice them, don't they? Day in and day out. Jack Taylor comes to the wicket now, coming number 6. Batted pretty well on Friday night. They do need runs from Jack Taylor. They do. Cobain's out there, 46. He's doing well.
Yeah, well, Taylor, again, another one who can get going extremely quickly. But the thing is, we've almost got to play this over from Rashid Khan out now. It is his last.
How many balls? 3 balls to go this over from Rashid Khan. Cobain is facing. They crossed. And goes for a single. Now, there's no chance of going for 2 on that occasion.
No, absolutely straight to Rawlins, and that's you're signing a death warrant if you come back there, that's for sure.
Well, they try and take the pace off the ball. That's what they're trying to do, but it's just overhitting it a little bit, and the fielders are racing in from the boundary at top speed. Jack Taylor faces his first ball now, and gets himself a single. Now there should be 2 here because there's no one. No, there's no one on the unguarded stumps at the non-striker's end, but Rashid has the ball in his hand and he walks back to bowl his last ball of his spell. Julian Clark, isn't it? He's bowled well. 1 for 25. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Rashid Khan bowls his last ball to Cobain is on 47, and Cobain again an easy single, and Cobain keeps the strike. 48 for him, 106 for 4. 5 overs to go. Well, the spinners have both finished now. That's probably good news for Gloucestershire. It is easier to get purchase off the quickers, isn't it? But 5 overs to go. They're going to fall short of 150 unless they get going. It's tough, this, very tough.
Yeah, so 10 and over from here, 156. And then 11 and over to... that will get them just over 160. So that's probably what they've got to be looking at, really. I mean...
well, they are running out. Benny Howe can come in, of course he can, and...
Ty, maybe, to come in and finish off the innings as well.
Ty.
So, interestingly, I suppose actually they did this the other day against Kent as well. It's going to be David Visser to bowl from the Bristol Pavilion end, bowling to Ian Cobain on 48. And Cobain slaps this one down the ground. It's high in the air. Is it going to fall short of long off? It does just fall short. And they're going to come back for 2 as well because he's dived past it as Ollie Robinson. So that is 50 for Ian Cobain. in slightly inauspicious circumstances,
Well-
but you've got to ride your luck in this format.
He did get 50, and I'm not sure. Do you think he held it back deliberately, or it was just a poor shot? He didn't follow through enough to clear the boundary.
I think it just didn't get through
Yeah.
to him as quick as he expected it to. Visa in and bowls, and that's turned to the leg side. Now this time they might think about, no, they're not going to get to there. No, quickly to the ball there is Laurie Evans out on the deep square leg boundary, and just the one. Cobain to 51, 109 for 4 here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex.
41 balls.
41
50
balls
for
is 50.
41 balls.
5 fours and a 6.
Well, he's done his job really as Cobain. Somebody in that top 4 for Gloucestershire you'd think had to go on and get at least a half century, so Cobain's done that. Visa in and bowls to Taylor. Oh, that's a lovely shot from Taylor. He's just glanced it away fine, where a first slip would be, but of course you never have one at this stage of an innings, and it's a lovely tickle for 4 for Jack Taylor.
Good shot.
113 for 4.
Very, very good shot.
Yeah, classy shot. I mean, there wasn't actually that much width on offer from Visa
No.
at all. And, you know, he doesn't bowl it. He bowls a lot of off-cutters, does Visa. And it's not always the easiest shot to play, that little glance off, because you're hitting against the spin as well. That's a full toss from Visa. It's not a great ball, but he's going to get away with it. It was hit hard by Taylor, but not quite in that mid-wicket gap that Gloucestershire have picked a couple of times. And again, it's Evans out on the deep square leg boundary doing the fielding. One more to the total, 114 for 4. So Cobain and Taylor just threatening here for Gloucestershire. And Visa in again and bowls. That's a poor ball down the leg side. It's a wide, and it looked like it was a definite slower ball, but it must just have slipped out of his hands, because that was a comfortable wide, and the over continues to get more and more expensive. That's 9 already off, is it, Julian? 9 already. 3 balls to go. Visa bowls, slower ball hit towards Rawlins at deep mid-wicket. Again, he's going to pick up with one hand and throw quickly, which means again just the one. So Taylor has 6, excuse me, on strike. Cobain with a single to 52.
1 ball to come.
1 ball to come. So 10 off the over so far, and well, just 10
6 now
roundabout
would be
average
good.
for this stage, so it's all on this ball really. Is it going to be a good over for Gloucestershire, or a sort of decent one at this stage? Slow ball bouncer from Visa, and Rawlins again patrolling the deep mid-wicket boundary. It'll just be the 1, and Taylor again, he just eyes would have lit up there, but it just never got to him. So single to end the over, 117 for 4, with 4 overs remaining in the Gloucestershire innings.
I think they got to get past 150 at least, Gloucestershire. They should do from this situation. 160 plus bonus. Brucey bonus.
What is it? 33 off 4 overs, so just over 8 and over they need. So that, I mean, that's minimum, isn't it, really, at this stage of an innings?
But Chris Jordan has 2 overs to bowl, and I'm sure he'll bowl them both from the Ashley Down Road end. He has the ball in his hand now, and they've used 6 bowlers so far.
Yeah, you'd imagine that it will just be Topley and Jordan to finish now. They don't have to bowl anyone else, because Visa has bowled the 1 over that Robinson won't almost certainly bowl now, unless, of course, Chris Jordan bowls 2 waist-high full tosses or something extraordinary like that.
He has never done that.
I should hope not.
Right, well, he's setting his field, and then in consultation with his captain, there's 2 on the offside, 1 behind point, 1 at cover.
They're tempting Taylor to hit over the offside, aren't they? Over
Yeah.
long off and extra
Well,
cover
the
up.
long on is in play, right on the boundary. Jordan bowls to Taylor. Whoa, hit on the pad and given out. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. He played it just in front. We can see we had the perfect position here, and I think the finger was up.
Yes, it was up about a millisecond after the appeal started. I mean, it was just a full straight delivery that would have been clattering into middle and leg, and Jack Taylor, it was one of those ones where the batsman almost doesn't have to wait for the decision for an LBW, just
Well, he missed it.
straight off.
Missed a straight ball.
Yeah.
So Benny Howe comes out now, And he's a very intelligent cricketer. But I think a lot depends on Cobain now. He's been there 52. He's been there since the second over, and I just think he needs to get a bit of a move on Cobain now.
Yeah. As the
43 balls he's faced
at this stage.
Yeah.
It's, to be honest, though, it's almost at the stage where both batsmen have to be looking to clear the ropes. But as
we have AJ Tye to come.
Not easy to hit Chris Jordan if he's going to get it right. He doesn't always get it right, but when he does, he's pretty deadly.
Howell faces, Jordan bowls, and a no run. Backward point fields.
I think this is really good from Sussex. I don't think I've seen a side at this stage of an innings have fielders still saving one, and I don't understand why more teams don't do it, especially to a new batsman. I mean, even at this stage of an innings, how many times do you see the batsman just try to drop and run, get the established batsman on strike, and Sussex are preventing that from happening?
Well, on the offside, the onside is the only time he can do that, and goes underneath the bat of Benny Howell.
He was running in with that delivery. It was Luke Wright at short cover.
Well, I think that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
I didn't get up too much, that it looked like, but
Luke Wright is a very, very experienced cricketer at this form of the game. He's played all over the world.
Their plans have been very good today so far, Sussex. Whenever they've moved the fielder for a specific ball to be bowled, that's where generally, apart from a couple of exceptional circumstances, that's where it's been.
Jordan bowls. That's a good ball. That would have been a wide if he'd have left it, but he helps himself to little four, does Benny Howell. 121 for 5.
Might have been a case. Well, actually, it might have been a case of the commentator's curse. But to be honest, it doesn't matter where you have the field for a short, long hop outside leg stump. It's gonna go, especially to, well, a batsman at this stage of the innings. It's just help yourself, I'm afraid, that one.
I think they are below par at the moment. How many balls is over to go? 1, 2. Thank you, Julian. Not 1 this time. 2. Thank you. I got it right at last. Chris Jordan comes in to bowl to Howell. 4. He's got to his name, and he just plays that ball at the bottom of his boot, and they go through for an easy peasy single. Leg by, in fact, leg by. Well, that's often the case, isn't it?
Stage.
Pardon?
Well, it doesn't matter how they come in the stage too much.
Well, that's the stop ball, isn't it? You play it, and it just hits your boot, and the bowler has to come in, and it's an easy single. There's no one else in the vicinity. Everyone else is standing on top of the flats, on the top of the floodlight pylons all over the place.
Yeah, not sure who's volunteered to stand on top of the floodlight pylon, but it certainly wouldn't be in the captain's good books.
No, you wouldn't. Cobain's on 52. He's facing Jordan now, and again, that was a good ball from Jordan, right in the block hole, and Cobain just could not get it out of his feet, really. So that's the end of the over. 3 overs to go. 122 for 5. How many of that over, Julian? Only 5 of that over. Oh dear. Well, this is going to be below par.
Well, as strange as it is to say off that last ball, for somebody of Chris Jordan's pace, he almost did the batsman in the flight there.
He did.
It was just a looping today. I'm not sure whether it was just a slower ball or whether it was one of those knuckleballs, because you see the knuckleball behave kind of like that. It just dips on you. Maybe it was one of those.
Reece Topley coming in from the Bristol Pavilion end. He bowled his first 2 from the Ashley Down Road end, and we know he's going to dig it in. If you hit it, it could go over slip, so they have got a fly, sort of third man fly slip position in play.
He is going to bowl a lot of slower balls, I would imagine. Got plenty of cover out on the leg side. Here comes Topley bowls, and it's maybe not a slower ball, but it's certainly not too much pace off. At this time, they are going to come back for 2, and even Jordan, with an incredibly acrobatic off-balance throw, is unable to prevent them from coming back.
Well, that's what they should be doing.
Run.
That's what they should be doing.
Well, it's 2, I suppose, not the worst result at this stage. Sussex are just trying to prevent boundaries with just 17 balls of the innings left here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex as Topley comes in and bowls, and that short wide cutaway, that's easy pickings for Benny Howell. It was, well, lots of width on offer. They've got men up
Poor ball.
point and short third man. But again, really like the one that Jordan bowled last over, that's a ball that you cannot set a field for.
You can't. Poor ball, he admits it.
You can see the plan though, really. They are just trying to bang it in short and dig it into the pitch, try and make the Gloucestershire batsman generate all the pace, but he bowled it too wide. That's an under edge this time from Howell, and it trickles out into the leg side. They come through for a quick single as Carey comes out from behind the stumps. 129 for 5.
Well, we've got 6 halfway through the over, 12 will do.
So it'll be Cobain on strike, 52 to his name, and he's, well, it's been a little while since Cobain's actually hit a boundary. As Topley bowls, that's a full delivery, it's hit pretty hard down the ground, and even though Howell rushes, it won't be 2. Jordan, the fielder, at long on, and 1 more to the total. Yeah, it's been a good, well, it's been at least a good 4 overs or so since Cobain's hit a boundary, hasn't it? The 6th in the 14th over. So they've bogged Cobain down really ever since he's got to 50. Howell on strike, Topley bowls, and it's a perfect Yorker from Topley, and they will not again be able to get 2. It's Rawlins running straight, and he doesn't have to change direction as he runs in from the deep mid-wicket boundary. And another single. So again, even when Gloucestershire have got boundaries in an over, all too often it's just been the one. Just struggle to get that, apart from that 1 over of Briggs, that really big over where you get at least 2 boundaries. Topley bowls, Cobain swings, this is going to go for 6 over mid-wicket. Doesn't clear the rope by much, but again it's that gap between deep square and the man at cow corner, and it's the second 6 for Cobain, so he does get the boundary. It ends the over, 137 for 5 Gloucestershire with
good over.
3 overs remaining.
Good over that for Gloucestershire. 15?
Well, that's again, it's that last ball, but 9 off the over. If it had just been a single, I think Sussex has been quite happy with 10 and over at this stage of the innings. But if it ends up being more than that, then
I think about 100. It's under par, I would say. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But if they can get past 150, 155 region, there's something to bowl at.
Yeah, they've just got to give, well, Sussex some scoreboard pressure, really. And if you can hit a couple of quick wickets, which will be the key, I think, really, the first 6 overs, how Gloucestershire bowl in the power play, then Gloucestershire, I think, will be feeling pretty good about themselves. But it does require a strong finish in the last couple of overs here.
Yeah, Jordan it is to bowl to Howes on 12. And that's straight 6. Yes, thank you very much indeed. We'll have 1 more of those. Lovely job.
Yeah, top strike there from Howell. And the key as well is to hit it dead straight, so even if you don't time it 100% perfectly, it's still going to be 4 rather than be a simple catch to somebody on the fence there.
Well, Wright's having a conversation with Jordan now, and I'm sure he's saying, don't bowl at his legs. Just
don't bowl in the slot.
No.
And he certainly can't bowl there because they're still having long off up inside the circle.
Yeah, they've got 2 straight on the leg side, cow corner and backward square leg. Bowls again, and that's going to go for 4. Thank you very much indeed. That was a great shot from Howell because it was a wide ball, and he sort of parked his bottom towards square leg and reached for it, and it went behind square for 4.
Yeah, he just guided it, really, didn't he? Rather than trying to play a flat-batted shot towards cover, which could easily have gone straight to the fielder, as we've seen several times in the innings. He just opened the face, and that's the thing about that wide Yorker. Even though they've got a man out at deep point to defend it, which is something that a lot of teams actually don't have out there, you still can't defend it if you end up bowling a slot ball out wide because there's always a gap to hit into.
Jordan again to Howell, and this time just gets a single as he mistimes a drive on the offside. It pops out on the onside, but he won't mind about that.
Well, 150 is at least going to be reached.
Should be 160.
Very comfortably.
Over 160 now should be.
What's here? Has he got some issue with Benny Howell's bat? I wonder if he just got that off the cue end and whether he's got a little crack in it or something. He was certainly he was getting Ian Gould to have a bit of a look at it, but no change and no signal to the dressing room. Certainly don't want to be batting with a broken bat at this stage.
No, we might have gone for the bat gauge.
Oh.
Cobain is facing on 59. Jordan bowls to him, and that's a single. Got a bit of fielding out there. You think about throwing it at the unguarded stumps, but Chris Jordan wasn't back. And Luke Wright just gives him a little bit of a ticking off. He says, well, you should be on those stumps, but I mean, Jordan was still in his follow-through.
I would say he also rather got away with that, because Cobain got some elevation. He just didn't quite pick the gap between mid-off inside the ring and extra cover, but it was just a prime ball for lofting over the mid-off inside the circle, but he couldn't get it over the top, could Cobain.
Well, Wright's interesting position. He's fielding at a deep extra cover. There's also a mid-off as well, and that's a good ball from Jordan. I think Howell thought it was a wide, but it wasn't. It was just in the perfect slot.
Yeah, he was hoping against hope that the umpire's arms were going to come out, but we could see it. I mean, as Bob said already, we've got a great angle here. We could see it land right on that wide line.
Now Robinson seems to be warming up, so Topley may have been withdrawn from the attack. We shall see. He has got one over in the bank, 149 for 5. One ball of the over to go, Julian? One ball, thank you, Julian. Very good at telling me how many balls of the over there are. Julian bowls. Julian bowls. I see something like that. And it's a single. Out to square leg.
Well, Chris Jordan, Julian, I mean, what's the difference, really?
150 up for Gloucestershire in the end of the penultimate over. That's one over to go. It is going to be Robinson going to bowl, so Topley has been dismissed.
Topley summarily dismissed from the bowling attack after going 15 in his last over.
Well, I think that makes sense, actually.
So Jordan's understandably through his 4 overs. And, well, it's sort of a mixed bag, I would say, from Chris Jordan today.
Yeah,
he bowled well up front, I think, but towards the back end, just a few too many boundary balls, which Gloucestershire didn't really have to take any risks in order to get the 4s and the 6s. 1 for 32.
1 for 32,
so,
not bad.
8 and over's not bad. I mean, it's sort of par for the course today, really, given that Gloucestershire are probably going to get to 160. They need 10 off the final over if they want to do that.
I think again, you can never tell until both sides have batted, Edward.
No, I think somebody wise once said that.
Here's your laugh. Go on.
Here comes Robertson bowls, and that's a slog to the leg side, but it's placed well. The only question is it 4 or 6? Has he kept that in? I think he's kept that in.
Yes, he did.
That was a tremendous piece of fielding by. I think it is Salt down there. I think it's Salt.
What happened was it bounced and he just flicked it up in the air to stop it going over the boundary.
He was over the rope, but he hadn't grounded himself, and he just, with one hand, palmed it back in.
But they think it's a 4.
Well, it's been signalled 4, and Robinson and Jordan cannot believe it. They're in disbelief about this. Salt's looking behind him to the Gloucestershire dugout.
Well, I tell you what, the Gloucestershire dugout.
They're going to be signalling 4, aren't they?
Of course they are.
154 for 5. So boundary off the first ball of the over. Robinson bowls, that's gone high up in the air. It's Salt coming in. He should take the catch, and he does. Comfortable catch. I mean, he made that look so easy, Phil Salt. So the end of Howell, he has played a really good cameo there. 28 off, I think, 15 balls. 28 off 15. So exactly what Gloucestershire were looking for at this stage. But, well, it was a ball that could have been hit. He just got underneath it too much. 154 for 6 here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex.
AJ Tye.
And AJ Tye rather than, I suppose, Tom Smith or Graham Van... No, it's not Graham Van Buren's not playing. I haven't deleted him from my scorecard. That's why I think he's playing, but he's not. So they... How many they actually...
It was Benny Howell out.
For so long.
It was Benny Howell out.
It was Benny Howell out, yeah. They were up in the air for so long. The ball was up in the air for so long. They could almost have run 2, but
you can run 2.
You can.
You can run 2. If you cross on the second run, it's a run for the batsman.
No, it's just you keep the batsman would keep the strike.
No.
No.
Does that change a rule?
Well, I don't know, but it's certainly you don't get any runs for a catch.
No runs for a catch. Oh dear.
Cobain on strike. Robinson in and bowls. Full, wide, straight back to the bowler. It could be a run out, but Robinson decides, possibly wisely, not to release it.
If he'd have released it and then missed, there would have been overthrows.
Although you really shouldn't be missing from there, but it does happen.
Well,
it
the
does
tie's
happen.
not facing, so it doesn't really matter.
No, but better to bank the dot ball at this stage, definitely. So 154 for 6, and, well, after the bounce
3
of the
balls to
first
go,
ball,
Julian. 3 to go.
160 and 6 needed to get there for Gloucestershire. Robinson bowls. It's a low full toss, but it's worked out very nicely. Cobain's just bottom edged it out to deep mid wicket, and they are only able to come through for a single.
AJ Tye on the crease.
Oh, the hero of the tied match, and well, he cleared deep mid wicket, didn't he, with a huge 6 in that game. But we'll see what he does. First ball right into the pressure cooker as Robinson bowls to Tye, and that's right underneath him, and they don't come through for the bye. Cobain was backing up, but they decided not to come through for it, and it's a dot ball.
It would have been a gamble. It would have been a gamble, but the keeper's 20 yards back, and he would have had to throw it at the stumps, and he could have missed. But,
exactly, and I think it was worth the gamble to get Cobain back on strike, but that's just my opinion. Final ball, as it'll be Tye to face. Robinson bowls to him, and Tye swings it away into the leg side, and Rawlins, he's misjudged it! Rawlins has misjudged it, and it's gone for 4 off the last ball. So Gloucestershire, well, they haven't got to 160, but Sussex will require 160 to win, and that should have been a catch, and Rawlins has, well, he sort of slid past it in the end.
Well, he sort of put his hand, that was the acknowledgement, I've made a mistake there, and he's quite right. Now, this score of 159, again, you can never tell until both sides are batted, Edward, but I think it's about 15-20 under par. Would you agree?
I would say, it depends what you mean by par, though, doesn't it? I mean, par average, as opposed to par being a score that Gloucestershire would be happy about.
Well, not just par.
Well, par, I reckon, if you think about par, I reckon they're 10 short of par.
Okay.
They would have been happy with 180.
They'd have been very happy with 180. I think once, well, they got 160 to win, have Gloucestershire, who will be playing Sussex, and I don't know. I just don't know what to think anymore. Julian Clark's disappeared. He never reads the scorecard out now. But he's we'll let him do it when he comes back. I think
Julian doesn't seem to want the pleasure of reading the scorecard.
He does
He's gesturing from the back of the box saying, no, don't let me do it.
Anyway, I tell you what we have now. We have some tremendously entertaining stuff in the interval. We have the Thatcher's apple race. It is a complete and utter shambles.
Do they get inside the apple? Or
No, they don't. No, they don't. What you have to do is, you can see there's 2 apples there.
Can see that.
And the mascot cheekily has put it away.
I suppose technically I can see 2 very large inflatable things shaped like apples.
They are, well, they're supposed to be apples, and it's got the name of the cider company on the side, so it's a bit of a free plug. And they've selected 2 teams. And what you have to do is you've got to push it up to the end, and then someone else pushes it back. It is complete nonsense. I don't know why they have to have these in the middle of these 2020 matches. I mean, no one's really bothered, are they?
How is... Oh, see, they're blowing over even.
Oh,
that
yeah.
one's just blown over.
I know.
How good is that? I mean, they're getting a head start there now.
Well, they haven't, someone's got to push it.
Well, the wind seems to be winning the race at the moment.
well, that's very true. Very true indeed. Now...
I can't imagine that's easy to... I mean, you've got the inflatable bit at the top that's representing the stalk.
Yeah.
How do you push it? Does it
You
bounce
push it.
then?
You push it.
But yeah, I know you push it, but I mean, does it bounce when it hits the stalk? I would imagine that's...
No, it doesn't bounce when it hits the stalk. Look, you just push it. That's all you have to do. Push it. You just, nothing else, nothing technical, you just push it.
Well, that sounds far too complicated for me.
No, it's great stuff. And they got 2 people, I'm sure they got 2 people from the crowd who are probably drunk. Anyway.
One of the apples is still trying to get away. He's got it on a harness out there, and it keeps trying to run away from him.
Now.
Got a mind of their own, these inflatable apples.
Now, I don't know what's happened here. It looks like a Sussex player's going to come and have a go.
Is there a Gloucestershire player having a go as well?
No, who's that? Who's 24? Who's 24 for Sussex?
Not sure.
Well, somebody's just walking past anyway, irrelevantly. Now, here today we have lots of stuff. We have the old cricket simulator at the far end, which is always very popular. See how fast you can bowl. You see how fast you can bowl. And the Sussex players are completely ignoring the apples.
Oh, it's Ben Brown, sorry.
Ben Brown, yes. He's going over to the tent. They got a very nicely populated tent here, supported by the Rainbow Trust, who of course are trying to raise a lot of money here today to get people to look after children who have had a parent or two taken away in bad circumstances, as Tom Smith certainly did last year. And Tom Smith has dedicated a lot of his time to this Rainbow Trust appeal. And there's a good raffle down there. I think the first prize, which I spent £5 on a ticket, is a signed shirt.
Oh, well.
Well, it's good. Julian Clark, you going to read the scoreboard? He had to spend a penny. He's gone to spend a penny.
On the raffle, or not? Not on the raffle, no.
Right, you're going to read the scorecard, Julian Clark. He's going to get it ready. I'll give him his headphones. Here's the scorecard, read by Julian Clark.
So Hammond was caught by Salt after bowling of Robinson for 5. Klinger caught Carey, wicketkeeper bowled Topley 7. Bracey caught Visa, bowled Briggs 30. Cobain not out 61. Higgins caught Evans, bowled Khan 11. Taylor LBW to Jordan 7. Howell caught Salt, bowled Robinson 28. And Ty not out 4. There were 6 extras, 2 leg byes and 4 wides. And the bowling figures: Topley 3 overs, 1 for 26. Robinson 4 overs, 2 for 34. There were no maidens in the innings. Jordan 4 overs, 1 for 32. Khan 4 overs, 1 for 26. Briggs 4 overs, 1 for 28. And Visa 1 over for 11 runs.
Thank you, Julian. Well, I suppose overall you'd say it was a pretty solid bowling performance from Sussex. I think they'd be a little bit disappointed with a couple of the deliveries at the death, but overall, pretty good bowling effort. And for Gloucestershire, well, Cobain anchoring the innings with his 61, and he just got a little bit bogged down around about the 50 mark. And I mean, you don't really lay the blame at him at all. It's more the fact that, again,
Sussex bowled very well.
Yeah, they did bowl very well, and again, from Gloucestershire's perspective, there were 2 wickets inside the first 3 overs, which always is going to set you back.
Yeah. Now, the big question is, who's favourite?
In the race, apple race, or in the match?
No, not the apple race. The apple race hasn't started yet.
Well, I don't know. I thought I might be asked to pick,
Who's going to win this game of cricket?
Well,
I'm afraid Sussex are favourites.
I would say Sussex, yes. But Gloucestershire if Gloucestershire get 2 wickets
in the first over.
First over, well, yes. If Gloucestershire get 2 in the power play, I'd say it's fairly even, unless Sussex have got off to 60 or something.
Who are the key players for Sussex? Luke Wright.
Well, it's I guess the top 3 really: Salt, Wright, and Evans. But of course, Alex Carey provides some thump in that middle order. But he's also a very intelligent player, is Alex Carey. He can play the type of innings where he just picks the gaps. He's very good against the spinners, and really he can. I mean, I think you could probably say that actually pretty much about all of Sussex's top order batsmen. They can just play according to the situation that's needed. They're not going to go out and, I mean, especially even Luke Wright these days. It used to be the case that Wright would go out and just charge at almost every ball. But now, I mean,
you don't have to, do they? Really?
No, he doesn't, and he's got. He's a quality player, and even if he is going, on the rare occasion that he is just about going on a run a ball for 15, 20 or something, he knows that he can make it up towards the end of the innings.
But meanwhile, away to our left-hand side, there's the Thatcher's Big Apple race.
The Big Apple.
The Big Apple. Now, it's a long course, you see. It's a relay, and the PA announcer is orchestrating things, and this is an absolute shambles. The apples just collide all over the place.
Well, that's what I mean. How do you roll those things straight?
You wait and see.
I can't wait. I'm on tenterhooks.
I bet you can't wait.
Whatever those are.
I bet you can't wait. No one's watching actually, but
Well, we are. We're the only ones interested.
no, it's a big apple race. Right. Waiting.
Now the Gloucestershire
long-
mascot's hiding away. I mean, he doesn't want to get run over by an apple.
Well, it wouldn't be. That'd be quite interesting if he was run over by a massive apple. Huge apple, squashed to the ground. Run over by a massive apple.
Inflatable apple.
They're going.
That's sort of Surfeit of Lampreys type death, that one.
Oh, and they're off, you see. And that's what they do. Let's push it along. And it loses control.
Oh, she's
see,
going
the girl's
way off
got
to the right.
Yeah, now the boy's got the right technique, but it's
Oh,
it's gone.
Pushed it straight into him.
Now it's gone, and now they can't see the person pushing. She's only about 6 foot, shorter than the apple.
Oh, and the Gloucestershire mascot's just chucked the apple away. But unfortunately, all he's done is chuck it over the line quicker than it would have got there if he'd pushed it.
Well, that's it. You see, that's it. No one's interested. No one's taking any notice of it.
Is the gorilla disqualified?
The gorilla is disqualified.
Because I mean, he's just had the inflatable apple kicked at him by
Well, I
the
think.
winner.
Well, see, that was a farce because the girl's side, the other girl was only about 4 foot. You couldn't see over the apple. Just pushing
definite
aimlessly.
disadvantage.
That's it. Entertainment's finished. That's what you get here at T20 time.
There's a gorilla jumping on a person now as well.
Yeah,
so,
the gorillas. I think he's.
So if you want to see
silly.
inflatable apples and gorillas jumping on people, come down to the cricket.
Well, I think that I'll tell you what. That gorilla. I think he's taking too much centre stage, really, isn't he? Too much centre stage. He's milking it for all he's worth. Milking it.
I guess that's the mascot's job, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, the women go off, as always, they go off having won absolutely nothing. I think the winners might get some cider. They should do.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
And you'd need it after pushing an inflatable apple around.
Yeah. Anyway, the umpires are due out any minute.
Thank goodness.
The security guards in the middle have had absolutely nothing to do. In the middle as well.
Well, they're standing to attention very nicely, though.
Yes, they are. Now then, back to the cricket. So Sussex need 160 runs to win, which is, by my estimation, 8 runs and over. Mm-hmm. Is that right, Julian?
Julian's
Clark?
got his mouth open over there.
Spot on. Spot on. 8 runs and over. So it isn't a massive target. My glimmer of hope is that often in these situations, if you got a mediocre target to get for, you suddenly find yourself behind, and then you've got to sort of push on at the end. Sussex will want to finish this before the last over, won't they?
And the other thing is, especially by that point, you don't know if the pitch is going to slow down later on in the match as well, which it could do. Being a used pitch, and possibly with maybe, I don't know, floodlights might not be needed. Actually, it's brightened up a bit recently, but it's just the possibility of, if not ball not quite coming onto the bat, maybe a bit of two-paced nature, possibly, and that can make scoring rather difficult. So you'd imagine Salt and Wright would probably be looking to be about 45-50 after the power play, which is, I mean, it's actually not far off where Gloucestershire were, but if they were 1 wicket down, or of course 0, then I think they'd be quite happy. But Salt in particular may decide to go hard at the first 6. Interesting to see how Sussex decide to play.
Well, it's nice
this.
to see Tom Smith leading up the Gloucestershire side.
There's Miles Hammond with his mauve hair.
Correct. It's a bit ambitious, that hairstyle, isn't it?
It
looks grey, actually.
ambitious. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I thought, who is that with the grey hair warming up down there?
No. Well, Luke Wright is so... I don't know how many 2020 games... It must be about 300 2020 games he's played. How many 2020 games has Luke Wright played in his career?
I'll be able to tell you in 3 seconds or 4, maybe 5 at the most.
He's played loads, hasn't he?
Maybe 10.
All around the world.
He certainly has. And he's been an absolute fixture for the Melbourne Stars in the Big Bash League, as it's now called. And several other stops off as well. Bangladesh, I believe, as well.
Yes, he has. You said 10 seconds. It's been far more than that.
I know it has, but it's not my fault.
No,
done.
it's the fact that my laptop does not want to give me internet at the moment.
Okay, well, Salt is facing. Now, Salt, interesting character. He opened the batting at Eastbourne against Gloucestershire, and he hadn't done it before. He's coming at 8 and 9, wasn't he? He's not recognised as an opening bat. He's a spinner mainly. Is that not true?
No.
That's rubbish, isn't it?
Sorry.
Who am I thinking of then? Pepper? No, not him. Mustard? No.
He did play for Essex, didn't he? Or did at one stage, Michael Pepper. No, well,
not him.
Salt scored a 50 or a 60 odd here last year, which,
I remember that
kind
now.
of saw Sussex. I don't think he quite saw them over the line, but he
Anyway,
saw
here's
them close.
Payne. First ball of the Gloucestershire reply. Bowls and dot ball. We're winning.
Yeah, well, win probability or whatever they call it.
Well, the win
would have gone up.
probability, I would say,
After
I'm
one
not a
ball.
betting man, I would say that Sussex are favourites, probably evens.
Even favourites?
Yeah, I think so.
How does that work?
Even money.
Ah, I see, sorry.
Not a betting man, obviously.
No.
No.
Definitely
okay.
not.
Okay. Well, I'll tell all about it in a minute. Payne comes again and bowls to Salt, and that's gone through the covers. There's 4 runs. Now then, I think the odds are just increased a little bit for Sussex. That was a poor ball. I mean, where do you put your 2? Well, he's got 2 on the leg side, and he's got a 3rd man, as David Payne. So the offside was quite well protected. So why do you bowl a ball like that? It was a half volley on the offside.
And of course, Hammond's slip as well. Well, he
Now
was.
gone.
It's 1 ball. That's all that
2?
was needed.
Is there 2?
Well, okay, yes, 2. I was meaning more as in 1 shot has
Yes.
caused him to go there, but. That's the other thing. If you're going to have the slip in place, that's where you've taken him from. It was a huge gap for Salt to find. He found it very easily.
And Payne comes in again to 4 without loss, and that's a better ball. And Salt covers up, dot ball.
Finally, give you the answer to your question, by the way.
Go good.
Luke Wright has played 305 T20s.
This is his 306th.
I'm not sure whether it's ticked over or not, so it's either 305 or 306.
Well, that's a load of T20 matches,
It's
isn't
an
it?
awful lot of balls
Yeah, absolutely.
that he's faced, and if I actually tell you, he's faced 5,105 balls.
In T20s?
Yes,
All right.
isn't that nice?
He's going to face some more in a minute. There's Payne bowls again, and that's hit away for a single, and here he comes. He's going to face his... That's a single for the total, 5 without loss, and Luke Wright is now going to face his...
5,106th ball.
It's 5,106th ball, right? Okay.
Please don't ask me to keep doing this.
He's going to face his 5,106th ball in T20. Now, Luke Wright has given up the Red Bull County Championship. Was very heavily involved in Sussex. Lovely chap as well, and played for England, of course, at all levels of the game.
Indeed.
But he's now in some sort of semi-retirement, but he's still a very, very decent cricketer, as we shall see. This 506th ball, and he's played back into his stumps, and he just plays it, and leaves it, jerks away, and there's no run.
Yep, that's a better line from David Payne for sure. It just looks to me as though the ball is not swinging as much for David Payne as it was for Topley, and Payne was getting some swing, wasn't he, the last couple of games, I think, and I'm sure it's nothing that Payne is doing, but I think the conditions, it seems, were more helpful for Sussex swinging the ball early.
And there's Payne again, bowls to Wright, and Wright goes for a single. The ball hits the stumps. That would have been very, very close from Miles Hammond. He only had 1 stump to aim at. And that's the end of the first over, 6 without loss. No, it isn't the end of the over. Is it the end of the over? No, it isn't the end of the over. 2 balls to go on there.
It is the end of the over.
It is the end of the over. Don't tell me off, Julian. I made a mistake. Do you want to be sacked? No, if you don't watch your mouth, I'll sack him. Now AJ
Sack
Tye.
Julian, who is going to give us
Julian, you're fired. No, you're not. AJ Tye coming on.
opening the bowling.
Right, this is a bit of a gamble from Klinger. I don't think he'd want Tye to open the bowling necessarily. Do you agree, Ed Seaborn?
Well, I would imagine if he'd wanted him to open the bowling originally, he would have opened the bowling within the last couple of games. This was just a little change up in the plans for Gloucestershire, as here comes Tye and bowls to Wright. That's a good delivery to start with from Tye. Good line, good length, and Tye defends it back up the pitch. The thing... Did I say Tye defends it back up the pitch?
Pardon?
Or never mind. Wright was the one who defended it back up the pitch. I
You
thought
did
I
say
said that.
Wright.
I thought I might have said that Ty defended it up the pitch.
Well, Ty wouldn't, because he's the
Well, no,
bowling.
of course not. That was why it would have been a mistake, and I would have needed to correct myself.
Dear, you didn't make a
Sack
mistake.
me as well. I'm sacked as well. Here comes Ty and Bowles.
Oh,
That's
good ball.
hit right on the hip area, I would suggest, or maybe slightly lower than that. So
No, I think it was his stomach, actually.
beat him for pace wherever it hit him, and
However, you see, that doesn't really matter, because if they're behind the rate, they can increase it. They've only got 8 and over.
well, as I said, from Sussex's perspective, I would think that more important than the number of runs they score in this 6-over power play is the number of wickets they don't
Absolutely
lose.
right.
As here comes Ty and Bowles. That's full and bashed down the ground by Wright. That is dismissive. Classic Luke Wright shot. It was full, it was straight, but Wright with great work with the wrists, and he's got so much power on that and hit it straight down the ground for the second Sussex boundary. Wright's first. 10 without loss, Sussex.
You see, I often think, perhaps erroneously, in the power play you should have someone right on the straight boundary.
Ty will bowl to Wright again. And here he comes. Wright backs away and tries to, well, he kind of pulled out of the shot almost. He was aiming something fairly expansive through the leg side, and then kind of, I think, decided that it wasn't quite there, and almost sort of ended up facing away from the ball as it passed him.
Yeah.
Through to the keeper, Bracey, and a dot ball. 10 without loss here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex. And both Sussex openers on 5, as here comes Ty and Bowles, and that's another full straight delivery. I mean, it's a good championship line and length there from AJ Ty. Nothing wrong with that in any form of cricket. So again, pulling it back after the boundary early on, but the all-important wickets column is what we're watching. Overcast day here at Bristol, but it's not, I mean, it's perfectly comfortable temperature out there. Most people are in their shirt sleeves. As Ty bowls to Wright, it's short, pulled away, he's got enough of that to get it over mid-wicket, and it will bounce just a few times before crossing the mid-wicket fence.
Too short.
Away for 4, and indeed, too short and not... Well, in a way, too short, not short enough. I mean, if you're going to bowl short, you've got to get it right up there, and that was just a comfortable height for Luke Wright. Just to
Well, it
pull
was in
away
the
over
power
the
play,
top.
wasn't it? It wasn't the power play. They got a third man and a square leg, and that went over cow corner.
So 14 without loss after 2 overs, and well, just the 2 scoring shots in that over. There were 4 dots, but also 2 boundaries.
Excuse me, you don't want that, do you?
Well, not particular. I'm not sure that from Gloucestershire's point of view they want boundaries at all.
Is Payne again, second over, bowling to Salt, who's on 5, and that's a that's a balloon.
It's going to be 6 no balls.
Is that a no ball? It's a no ball.
It's going to be 6 in total because it's 2 for the no ball and then 4 for the boundary.
Is that a free hit as well?
Not for this one, I don't think. I think this is the one instance where it's not a free hit.
Well, I don't know what David Payne was doing then.
It's
I mean,
extraordinary.
he dug it in and it just sailed over Bracey's head.
Boing!
Do you remember Super Balls before your time? It was like that.
No, I don't know what that is, I'm afraid.
Well, they used to be a craze in the 1970s and 80s. They used to bounce all over the place.
Just a little bit before my time, but
Okay.
But-
Payne again, he's got to calm himself down. 16 without loss. Now that was a better, shorter ball. It came up and sort of played across it.
it was pretty brave to bowl a short
Well,
ball
it is
after.
brave, yeah.
Especially as he knows that I think that then does become a free hit. If he bowls a second one over shoulder height, I think that then does become a free hit.
Well, Payne
That would have been
must know the
disaster
rules.
if he'd done that.
Payne must know the rules. He knows the rules. He knows what's going on. There's a sweep on the cover boundary now, and Payne bowls again. Oh, and that's going to be chased. It's going to go for 4. I'm afraid it is. Yeah. It wasn't a pretty shot,
No.
truthfully, and he just swatted it wide of mid-on.
Well, I mean, it wasn't pretty, but I mean, obviously it was effective because it went for 4, but he picked the gap, and it wasn't really that short. It was kind of a short-arm pull shot off a ball that wasn't ultra short, but I mean, it's terrific hands from Salt because there's barely any foot movements involved in that. Just swatted it.
Swatted
really.
it like baseball. Payne bowls again. Whoops, so that's going to be out caught. Oh, it's
that's
a great catch. It's a great catch out there. Now then, who is the fielder out there? I think it might be AJ Ty.
I think it is Ty.
It is AJ Ty. A great catch from the big man. He had to go down, and he's a tall man, and so Salt has disappeared. 24 without loss.
The first big wicket for Gloucestershire, and well, Salt looked like he was trying to repeat the dose there, but it was just maybe just that little bit shorter, and it maybe just caught the top of the bat.
It wasn't a good shot.
No, well, it's never a good shot if you get out, is it?
Well, I actually...
almost.
Well,
Almost
I can
never.
see good shots coming out. Is it Evans coming out now?
I would imagine it is.
Yeah.
Yep, Laurie Evans to the crease. I thought off the bat that was going to be a comfortable catch, but then it just seemed to be, I think it was tailing away from Ty, and he needed all of his height to get across to it. And, you know, I'm not sure that every fielder in the Gloucestershire side might have been able to get to that in there, because Ty is very tall, and he took that on the full stretch.
No, it was a very good piece of cricket.
So did they cross? That's the question. They did.
Yes, they did.
They did.
They did, yeah.
Must have only just. I mean, it wasn't in the air for very long, but yeah.
Here is Payne again. Bowls to Luke Wright. And Wright plays that and is well fielded by Ian Cobain.
Yeah, it's a good sharp piece of fielding actually, because it was on that awkward bounce, that kind of half volley bounce where, I mean, even if you are sure that it's not going to kick off a wicket end or something, it's just difficult to judge how much it's going to bounce.
Yeah, great bit of fielding. It would have been 4 otherwise, as Payne left arm over the wicket, bowls to Wright, and Wright is covered up by that one. Dot ball. Good over this from David Payne. Apart from that first ball, 4 no ball. We went for 6. 6 no balls. Ridiculous. Fast. I don't know what he was doing. I mean, what are you doing then?
I don't know. Testing out Bracey.
I don't know. He's sponsored by somebody's stair lift, so they could use him. He's been a great servant for Gloucestershire. He comes in again. That angular run-up of his is known so well. He bowls and right. That's hit right, and it's going to be reined in, I think, by Chris Liddle. He does, but that was so unfortunate. It just hit right, didn't it?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what I think he was trying to do. He was trying to play a ramp shot over the keeper or short third man, but he only got glove on it. I think it just hit him on the glove, and it just looped over the head of Bracey.
Well, I don't know. I thought he hit his body, actually. Anyway, we can argue about that later on. 26 for 1.
Well, we can, but I'll win because he's been given his runs.
Okay. 3 overs to go. 3 overs gone, I mean. So they got their 8 and over. They're above the rate at the moment, which is what Gloucestershire don't want them to do. It brings Evans down to face now.
Is Ty going to bowl a second?
Liddle.
No, he's not. Liddle.
It's Liddle.
Chris Liddle. So one of 2 Gloucestershire players playing against their former county.
Yeah.
And Liddle's first go of the blast this year as well.
Yeah. I think he played in one, didn't he? The first one.
Oh, did he play in the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks as though Liddle will bowl left arm round the wicket to right. We've seen quite a lot of left arm round. Topley bowled several from round the wicket earlier. Bowls to Evans, in fact, and Evans just drops that one through the cover area, but he can't beat the field.
Good timing, though.
Yeah, it was. That's Jack Taylor doing the fielding at extra. Well,
See, the problem for Gloucestershire, they're always up against it now, aren't they? They've got to have a couple of really tight overs.
Yeah, and the thing is exactly because the rate's actually pretty decent so far from Sussex, especially with those 6 no balls, which so far have kind of been the difference. Here's Liddle in and bowls to Evans, beaten on the outside edge. That was a gorgeous delivery from Liddle. Great line, great length, and in the corridor of uncertainty.
Indeed.
Not something you hear too much in T20, but that's right where it was. Evans so often is the one that will bat through for Sussex, and I'm sure they'll be wanting him to do that again today. As that's a full delivery, which is he's trying to whip that down the ground. Liddle with a good stop off his own bowling, so this has been a very good start from Liddle. He hasn't gone for a run yet. 26 for 1.
Don't
on BBC
speak
Radio
too
Bristol
soon.
and BBC Sussex. So Evans waiting to get off the mark. Luke Wright has 11 from as many balls. Here comes Little again. Bowls, and again straight delivery. Nothing that Evans can do with that one. He can't drop and run either because the field are up quickly on the offside. So, well, I wouldn't say the pressure is not quite there yet, but
I don't think they're feeling any pressure, Sussex, at the moment.
But one more wicket
Absolutely.
really does put the cat among the pigeons as Little comes in again and bowls to Evans. It's wide cut and a miss by Evans. And
He's bowling well, Little.
well, the thing is, there was a lot of width on offer there, but Evans, it wasn't quite as short maybe as Evans thought it was. He was trying to cut it, I think, but it just ended up, cutting straight past it for whatever reason.
Yeah, there's third man is doing autographs down there. It's David Payne.
I don't know how they do that. I mean, I don't know how they keep their minds on the cricket and sign autographs. So here comes Little and bowls. That's down the leg side, flicked away for 4 by Laurie Evans. And Little, well, he'd be really frustrated with that ending. He bowled 5 dot balls, and off the last ball, just to help yourself down the leg side, flicked away off the hit, fine for 4 by Evans. And it's 30 for 1 after 4 overs. Sussex chasing 160 to win.
They're 2 behind the rate now, which is something plus. Duckworth Lewis is 28, and they know what they're talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, they adjusted it, didn't they?
Yes.
Adjusted it. Seems to be working better. Mr. Stern got involved. Here he is. I think he's an American mathematician, so I was told.
Now Ty is coming on from the Ashley Down Road end. He's swapped ends, and he's going to be bowling to the Sussex captain, Luke Wright, who's seemed to have been around forever and ever. And he comes into bowl now, gets through the gears, bowls, and Luke Wright sets off for an easy single. Fielded out there by Graham Van Buren. And no, it's not Graham Van Buren. He's not even playing. Ryan Higgins. Beg your pardon.
Yeah, both these batsmen, as you will no doubt be unsurprised by it, have got very good records in the blast so far this season.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Averaging over 40 with decent strike rates as well.
What Gloucestershire, what Sussex don't want to do is to go into the last over, because anything can happen in the last over. They've got a third man now, Gloucestershire, and they set off for a single. The throw comes in, hits the stumps. If it hit the stumps, Evans might have been struggling just a tad. It was Tom Smith to the throw.
I would say it was a fraction sharper than Sussex would have really been thinking they needed to go for. And I suppose if Gloucestershire occasionally were guilty of perhaps not pushing the field enough, then I suppose you could say, well, Sussex are trying to put the fielders under pressure. And what they've also done is they've got Klinger already to put that short cover and short mid-wicket that we were talking about earlier in the day on the ring.
Ty bowls down the leg side, wide, obvious wide, and one more to the total, 33 for 1 in the 5th over.
Well, that's the kind of ball that actually, as a bowler, you're probably quite happy it ends up being a wide, because if he just gets a little tickle on that, especially with fine leg up, no chance for anybody to stop that one.
Yes, well, this is developing into quite a tense contest, I think, but Sussex will want to finish it with probably 2 or 3 overs to spare to give them some comfort as Ty bowls again, and Wright gets another single, just tucks it away behind square.
Well, of course, that is what they were able to do the other night against Kent. They were chasing a score pretty similar. I can't remember exactly what they were chasing, 155, I think, maybe somewhere along those lines. And yeah, they chased it down fairly comfortably. I think Salt got going nicely in that one. It was 155 they were chasing.
Same as 159.
Salt and Evans, the damage there.
Ty bowls again. Whoops, that's a 4. Too short. Evans got into position so quickly, stepped away and smote it. Or was it smited? It smote.
Smote, I think.
It smote over mid-wicket. Or widest mid-wicket for 4.
Well, Laurie Evans picking up where he left off in that last innings. 65 off 41 balls with 6 4s and 3 6s in that innings against top of the table Kent.
And that was, well, brutal from Evans, to be honest.
It's Ty again. Oh, that's going to be caught. Who's going to catch it? Ty has caught it. Well, I tell you what, I'm not sure Evans was playing that. I mean, I think he tried to hit it back over the keeper's, over the bowler's head. Got completely tucked up. It was in there a long, long time. Any one of 4 fielders could have snatched it, but Ty, I'm sure, said, "My ball!"
Well, I have to say, I thought that was Mid-on's catch, and I was thinking we could get a mix-up here, because I think it would have been a much easier catch for Mid-on, because he's got the ball right in front of him, but in the end, safe pair of hands from Ty.
Well, I tell you what it was.
He didn't want to leave it up to anyone else, did he?
It was one of those ones that was spinning it massively in the air, and I think Ty saw it first of all, and he just accepted responsibility. And yet again, Gloucestershire have pounced a big steepling catch. The score is now 38 for 2, and out comes Carey. Now, as long as Wright's there, I think Sussex are probably going to be favourites, but we just need to get him out, really.
Well, I think one more wicket before the power play's over and Gloucestershire start to be favourites.
Well,
I mean, it's basically bang on the rate now, isn't it? So
39, that's what it says.
So in the end, I mean, it's basically even at the moment. One more wicket soon, and Sussex are in a bit of bother.
Well, Wright is facing, they crossed, and that's a bit of a swish and a mish from Wright outside the off stump. End of the over, 38 for 2, 5 overs gone. Carey yet to get off the mark. Wright on 13.
Yeah, well, so far it's been a good, I would say, bounce back from Ty after going for, what was it, about 50-51 in his last match. So he'd have been keen to get back out there and get in amongst the wickets and keeping Sussex down again. It's a huge wicket of Laurie Evans there, though. I mean, he's up there among the best at marshalling chases.
Well, I don't know why did he do that?
It's been a real theme so far, hasn't it? The top edge. You see, I think at least 3 Gloucestershire batsmen got out to the sort of top edge skyer. So whatever it is, whether it is just stopping in the pitch, it's something that future batsmen will have to be very wary of. Liddell continuing. He will bowl left arm over to the left-handed Carey. It's short and wide and cut to short point, and they come through for a quick single, which in the end was well judged, I think. But I thought actually as they set off, I thought that was going to be a bit tight.
Well, I tell you why it was well judged, because the ball bounced a couple of times on that rough patch, and he just couldn't gather it successfully, the fielder out there, which is Miles Hammond.
Ballooned off it a little bit. So Carey, he's got a good record. In fact, he's actually only 3 runs off 1,000 in 2020 cricket.
Oh, he won't get those. Wright's facing.
Here comes Liddell and bowls, and that's down the leg side, and Wright turns it away to square leg. It'll only just make it out of the 30-yard circle, and the batsman come through for a single.
Leg by.
Right. 40-2 here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex.
Again, what Gloucestershire mustn't do is let Sussex have an over of 15-16. They've got to be contained.
Well, the last over of the power play, I mean, this is a crucial over.
Absolutely.
Whatever happens. Liddell entrusted with it. He's in and bowls now to Carey. Down the leg side, and Carey just helps it away wide of the man at short fine leg, and it's away for 4. So Carey underway with a boundary.
Poor ball.
On to 5, 44 for 2.
Well, the margin of error is so small, isn't it? I mean, that was down the leg side, and they can't have fielders everywhere, especially in the power play. Almost just helped it on its way.
Yeah, I think the thing is you'd probably in T20 cricket normally rather be too straight than too wide overall. Here comes Liddell bowls. This one is wide, and it's crashed away through the covers for 4 by Carey. That was hit very hard. Back-to-back boundaries in, well, on completely opposite sides of the ground, and that is why you don't give width. 48 for 2.
Lovely shot from Carey. Just leant into it, didn't he?
Beautiful timing, wasn't it? Made it look very, very easy, even though, I mean, it was there for the drive, certainly, but it still has to be put away. It was put away with some ease by Alex Carey. Here's Liddell again, bowls to him, and Carey just runs this one away to backward point. Diving effort there, but it would have been a single anyway, I feel, as
It goes to wide third man, 49 for 2, and just with those couple of boundaries, it's edged back towards Sussex. I would suggest getting back towards that 50 mark off the power play. But it's still, you know, another wicket. It's still pretty in the balance. Last ball of the power play, Liddell bowling to Luke Wright, and it's run away nicely by Wright, but a good diving stop at short third man by Payne, and that prevents what would have been another boundary. So the 50 up for Sussex after the power play, 50 for 2, and well, Sussex ahead of the rate. They've lost 2 key wickets in Salt and Evans, but ahead of the rate's always got to be a good thing.
Benny Howell coming on to bowl, and Bracey's standing up to him, which I always think is a good move.
I think in the middle overs, how Sussex play Howell could well determine the game.
Well, let me say a stat on Friday, which Julian's found out. Benny Howell's 4 overs, no one got more than 1 run off him.
That is impressive. I can actually also tell you that since joining Gloucestershire, Benny Howell has taken the most wickets of anybody in the T20 Blast.
Absolutely correct. Let's see what he does now as he bowls to Wright, who's on 14. And I thought he caught and bowled in them, but it's a bump ball.
Well, no, I don't think too many people in the crowd were fooled, but...
Well, I couldn't see.
I wasn't blaming you.
Well, he's got his back to me, hasn't he? So that's a dot ball to start things off for the Howell spell. I mean, never getting more than 1 run in any one of 4 overs was tremendous stuff from Howell. And that's cut again. Nice take by Bracey. Lovely take. Howell just not conceding a wide. 2 dot balls.
He also went reaching after it, didn't he? So
He
I think
did.
that would have probably, even if it had been, which I don't think it was, just outside the markers, he certainly moved across towards it. So that then means the wide line moves with you.
Absolutely true, as Howell comes in again and bowls. And that's a great bit of sailing from Hammond. What a tremendous bit of fielding by the silver-haired Miles Hammond, who certainly entered into the spirit of things today. They're wearing their rainbow shirts, of course, in raising money for the Rainbow Trust. And they're here in evidence, the Rainbow Trust. They're trying to get as much money as they possibly can, and why shouldn't they? As Howell bowls again, and Wright again, a dot ball. That's 4 dot balls on the trot. Howell is producing his magic again.
And that's the thing about that brilliant stop from Hammond as well, because even though it was only a single, now you've got a situation where Wright's faced a lot of dot balls. Now, interesting, they're going to drop mid-wicket back,
Yes,
so
they've got
basically
2.
sort of giving him the single now, almost on the leg side.
Yeah, that's true. As Howell comes in again and bowls to Wright, and Wright again just plays it to Klinger. 5 dot balls. Benny Howell's doing it again.
It's interesting, as I thought he would be able to use his wrists there, but he just ended up forcing it to the one man really who is very much saving the single.
Well, there's 2 behind square on the offside, and David Payne is a sort of leg gully position as Howell bowls again. And this time they do get a single, spoils the maiden over, but just 1 off the over. That is worth a ripple of applause.
More than a ripple.
And there it is. That's how that is very, very best. He's reined them in, he has. 51 for 2.
How many different balls has he got? Has he told you?
He says 9. I don't understand what they are, though. He's got an arm ball, he's got a ripple ball, he's got a wiggly ball.
Ripple? Is that what he calls it?
No, he's a tremendous ball. Now, Tom Smith coming on.
Yeah, Smith from the Bristol Pavilion. To Luke Wright.
I've got a stat. Scores after 7 overs, identical, 51 for 2.
Well, there you go. An illustration of...
Now, Tom Smith, it's his day. I just hope he does so well today.
Yeah, it would be I mean, even from a Sussex perspective, you'd like to see Tom Smith bowl well. He comes in now and bowls. First delivery is driven hard by Wright. Backward a square on the offside. It's running away towards the boundary, and it's just hauled in.
Well played, Jack Taylor.
It is good fielding. They've also managed to stop them getting back for 3.
Very good fielding.
So, yeah, it was...
a long old way for him to cover out there, all the way from basically deep extra cover to deep backward point.
Well, they got Cobain at mid-on, long on.
Smith bowls, and that's just going to evade him, but it'll only be a single down to long off. So right on to 18 now from 24 deliveries. So
it's quite slow for him, though, isn't it?
It is, but I think it's another illustration, really, of how Luke Wright's changed over the years again. Because I think in this instance where Sussex are not actually ahead of the rate anymore, but where they're near the rate, he knows his wicket is so valuable that he can make up time towards the end of his innings as well. And he knows it's more important that he's there than he plays a rash shot and gets dismissed. Smith over the wicket now, left arm to Carey. Carey wristily flicks this one away into the square leg area. They shouldn't get two, as Payne does the fielding from short, fine leg.
See, it's important for Smith. I don't mind the singles.
Oh no.
Boundaries are bad.
Indeed. Well, the required run rate, well, it's just ticking towards 8.5 now. As Smith bowls now to Wright. Wright comes down the pitch, but it just content to drop this one into the vacant mid-wicket area. Just the single again, 56 for 2 here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex. Alex Carey's got off to a flyer of a start, but he hasn't had much of the strike since coming in.
He has now.
He has got the strike now. As Smith, off his fairly long run, bowls, slapped by Carey off a full delivery down the ground. One more to the total, so still no boundaries.
It's been the run of ball, hasn't it?
Two off the first.
Oh, yeah.
So
one ball to go, Julian.
Yeah. It's this crucial last ball again, right on strike. Smith round the wicket, in and bowls, and that's down the leg side, turned away out to Miles Hammond with the mauve hair at deep mid-wicket, and a single taken, so 7 runs from the over.
It's all right.
And
not bad.
Decent start from Tom Smith, no boundary balls, and Sussex milking him quite well, but it's a sort of a neutral over at the moment.
Well, it was neutral in a way, but Benny Howell's bowling again from the Ashley Down Road in. He only had one off his last over. They are pegging them back, aren't they? I mean, I still think Sussex are just about favourites, but Gloucestershire, their odds are tightening.
Yep, I think from a Sussex point of view, a lot does depend on this partnership, really. Oh, false start.
I'll tell you why, because the PA announcer's was talking. Probably announced I won the raffle.
5-yard penalty. That's an American football reference, by the way, if you're into that.
I didn't know that. Here is Howell. Bowls to right, down the leg side. That's a bad ball. I don't think he's going to get... They're going to get 2. Little does a good bit of fielding. Is it buys? Is it buys?
He's not going to signal anything.
Runs. Okay.
Interesting, because it didn't go very quickly. But
no, well, it means it's not a wide.
No, leg by now. He's signalled the leg by now.
Oh.
That was a very late signal from.
Well, he obviously asked the other batsman, did Wright? He said, nah, he didn't hit it. No chance. Howell again, bowls to right. And that's a swipe. It's only going to be a single. Jack Taylor does the fielding deep out in what you'd call that cow country out there.
Yep. Actually, I've realised I've missed Alex Carey's 1,000 run mark.
Okay.
Happened a little while ago, but anyway, congratulations to Alex Carey.
That's 1,000 runs in T20.
In all T20 cricket, yeah.
Right.
Only 47 matches, average of 31.5, and if you're averaging over 30 in T20 cricket, that is, I would say, like averaging 45 or so upwards in first-class cricket.
Is Smith still batting at Edgbaston, do we know? He's out.
He's out.
Smith's out.
Got rid of him.
How many for? 142.
What was it? Was it a ball that shot along the turf or something? It must have been an unplayable delivery to get rid of him. Wade's got a century. Oh.
Howe bowls, and that's a great ball rising into Brace's gloves, and Howe, that was his knuckle ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is a knuckle ball? It runs that rises off the pitch.
You release the ball with your fingernails dug into the seam,
right.
So your 2 knuckles stick up, and the ball was released without any rotation on it at all.
Right.
Or very little rotation. The ball rotates about once or twice.
I can see. Too technical
until it
for me.
pitches.
That was a good ball though. Howell bowls again and cut away, and Taylor will just make it just a 1 run.
But what makes it effective, there's
Yes.
several things that make it effective. The fact that it's got no rotation on it means that if there's any wind or anything, the wind really takes it, because there's no spin on the ball to take it through the wind.
Right.
Then it can also sometimes hit the seam when it lands, which means it can misbehave that way.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's just a change of pace anyway, so you've got to pick it. So it's a really good ball if you can bowl it well.
And Howell
and
obviously can.
Pat Brown are probably the two best exponents of it.
Howell bowls again, and that's whacked away, and that's going to be a tremendous bit of fielding by Miles Hammond out there. Him with the orange and mauve hair.
He's not going to want to dye that hair back.
No, he's not. They went for 2 runs, I think.
Yep.
64 for 2 now. And there's 1 ball left of this over. Julian says correct. Well played, Julian.
He's afraid of getting fired now, isn't he? So everything you say is going to be correct, Bob.
Right is facing. He's on 23. He's been there since the beginning. And again, he throws his shoulder at that, and he just comes out to Hammond, who fields it, and it's just a single. And he takes the strike. 65 for 2. So they've had 9 overs now. So 9 eights are 72. So they are behind the rate. Duckworth Lewis says 63 should be the score. So they are, if you like, if you can be winning a cricket match halfway through, they are sort of winning. But Gloucestershire are making it difficult for them.
And it is still very dependent on these terms. It's not that Sussex don't have batting to come, but Delroy Rawlins hasn't been in the best of touch so far in this competition. Smith to continue in his second over, bowling to right. Slog sweep high in the air as it got the distance. Ty running back and takes the catch on the rope, throws it to it, takes a diving catch on the second attempt.
Brilliant.
What a brilliant catch for AJ Ty. Absolutely stunning.
That was absolutely brilliant, and Wright's not going because that was definitely out. Ty caught it on the rope, he overbalanced, he threw it up in the air, and he caught it. Now the umpires are conferring. Now I would say categorically that was out.
The fact is, though, that without the TV cameras here, they are going to have to take AJ Ty's word for it.
Well, AJ Ty caught it, as will the crowd behind him.
So I'm not really sure what they can do. Wright's been sent on his way. I mean,
well, he's going to have a word. I don't know how Wright can tell, actually. I could say...
Well, what I would imagine has happened is that the Sussex dugout have had a shout to him. And
Wright's having a go, actually. And Wright is not happy with that. But I would say, without any shadow of a doubt, that was out. We had a perfect view of it. A perfect view of it, and poor old Wright is gone. But that was a tremendous catch by AJ Ty. How on earth he over...
The fact that not only did he manage to keep himself inside the ropes, at least, you know, I'm going to sit on the fence a little bit, but
yes.
You know, I have to. But at least according to his word, to stay inside the ropes was one thing.
Yeah.
But then off balance, throw it back to himself, and then dive to take the second one.
That was the difficult bit.
I mean, they haven't quite become commonplace. It's still a fantastic thing to watch, even if you know. I think, well, apart from the Sussex people in the dugout, it was, you know, it's just a bit of cricket that everybody gets excited.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean,
but even if they have become commonplace for that type of thing where they throw it back to themselves, that was an extraordinary effort from AJ Ty.
Well, AJ Ty, they asked him, and he probably said, "I caught it."
So wicket for Tom Smith. David Visser is the new man. He's not on strike. Carey is the man on strike, and he just dabs that one away to short third man for a single. 66 for 3 Sussex, chasing 160 to win here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex.
You could tell that Wright wasn't happy. He stalked off.
Well, he wasn't going to go until he was very much told he had to. And the umpires, you know, they're miles away. So, well, how can they tell anyway? So they just have to take the fielder's word for it. There's no other alternative. There's a Yorker-length delivery from Smith, and Visser just squeezes it out to long on for a single, so he's off the mark.
But about that catch, though, he had caught it and he found himself overbalancing, and he very quickly got rid of it and then dived back over into the field to catch it.
That's the thing, that they all know where their feet are now. They practice it so much. Smith bowls, good delivery, and Carey was shaping to just turn that into the leg side, but
we got a game on here.
Read the pace of it. We have indeed. It's a real game, and the rate is climbing very rapidly now for Sussex. As here comes Smith and bowls. Sweep shot from Carey, but it probably is only going to be a single. Well, they've got the field set very well there at Gloucestershire, because Carey timed that one to perfection, and I thought off the bat that's going to be 4 between deep square leg and fine leg, but they've got their square leg at sort of backward area, so it was only 1. 68 for 3. Visa on strike, cut shot. He's hit that hard. There's work to do out on the ropes. They might think about 2. Visa is going to come back, and right to do so. Off balance throw from Jack Taylor out there on the deep cover boundary, and
good over.
So another over goes by without a boundary.
So it's 10 overs now.
70 for 3, and Sussex need 8.9 an over.
Could you tell us, Julian Clark, what were Gloucestershire on the 10 overs, please, if you can? 71 for 2.
Well, ahead on runs and wicket, of course. Sussex do know what they're chasing, but Sussex weren't the greatest they've ever been in the last 3 or 4 overs.
And I think we got Benny Howes bowling his 3rd.
2 overs for 6 so far.
Yeah, as he bowls around the wicket and gets a single, does Carey, out to the ever vigilant and busy Jack Taylor, who's patrolling that covers like his life depends on it. 71 for 3.
I have to think a lot depends on Mr. Carey now from Sussex's point of view. Visa's been good. Visa's been good in this competition. It's
well, you've got to have people coming in at 4, 5, 6, 7 who can push the score along, haven't you?
Yeah.
Visa takes strike for the first time at the Ashley Down Road end. Howe bowls to him, and he's caught behind. Now Bracey swears he caught it, but obviously he didn't. I must say that it was only Bracey made the appeal then.
I was about to say Bracey was the only one who was
a solitary appeal.
That was out. Yes. And Michael Klinger sort of took about 3 paces in and put his arms up in a sort of
shall we have a go?
Effort.
Shall we have a go?
And it's another dot ball though.
Yeah, dot ball as well.
Doesn't seem to matter where Howe bowls it at the moment. He's not getting hit.
Well, he's don't be careful about that. As he bowls again, and that's cut away, and it's only a single. Ryan Higgins out there on the offside on the cover boundary, throws it in. You see, at the moment, unless there's a bad over, which Gloucestershire bowl, and let's hope they don't from a Gloucestershire point of view, I know you're Sussex head, it's going to go probably to the last over, and if it goes to the last over, anything can happen, can't it? Carnage!
Well,
carnage!
Especially given that I think David Payne has bowled the last 2 matches very good last overs as well.
Yes, he has. Howe bowls to Carey's on 16, and that's pulled away, and this time it's going to go just Ryan Higgins will field it for another single. I mean, singles are almost as good as dot balls in this situation. You can't give away too many, obviously. It's a small total to aim for, but singles aren't bad.
Well, now that you need 9 and over, it's all singles and 1 boundary. That's only the rate.
Yes.
Nothing better. So
it'd be 9 actually, wouldn't it? 5 singles and the boundary is 9.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's exactly on the rate.
Oh, I
required.
see what you mean. Yes, okay, I'll give you that. You're back on business. That's down the leg side. That's going to be, unfortunately, a 4. Yeah, it's a 1 bounce 4. He took it on, did Visa, and he just chipped it, and it just dissected. Didn't bisect. Was it bisect? It bisected. Did not, right. There's no blood on the ground.
No.
77 for 3. That's a poor ball from Benny Howell. A rarity.
I think a good pick-up from David Visa as well. Not to hit it straight to the fielder.
Powell again bowls, and that's cut. And this time Higgins will keep it down for single. They think about coming back for 2, but they don't. And the ball thrown in, a very good throw to Bracey, who appreciates it, gives him a round of applause. 78 for 3, 9 overs to go, and they require 82, so it is 9, just over 9 and over.
Yep, 82 required from 54 deliveries, so yeah, just over 9s. And it's time for the...
Why do they have Sweet Caroline? I like Sweet Caroline. I used to like Sweet Caroline.
Surely no T20 cricket hasn't ruined it for you, has it? Oh. Smith continuing, 2 overs, 1 for 12 so far. Bowls to Visa. Visa turns it down the ground. Will just be a single down to AJ Ty. 79 for 3. So Visa's steadied the ship so far.
Sorry.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can now.
Here comes Smith, bowls to Carey. Carey turns it again down to long on. He's bowling very full here, is Smith, not allowing them to get underneath it.
That's what I worry about, Smith. I can't. That's better.
There we go.
That's...
Oh. You were back, now you've gone again. Is there a loose connection or something? Here comes Smith and bowls to Visa. Visa turns it to the leg side. Will just be the one out to deep square leg. Not picked up cleanly by Higgins, but
1-2, 1-2. I'm back.
Brilliant.
Back. I took it out and put it in again.
81 for 3.
No, I was going to say Smith doesn't bowl a bad ball, a boundary ball.
Carey gives himself room. Oh, he smashed it back at Smith, and I would say he's hit that so hard. That's a good stop.
He dropped it. I mean,
but it was, yes, as you say, it was
brilliant stop.
A chance. I think he hit that so hard.
He did, yeah. That could be the making. That could be a turning point.
Yeah, half chance. So it is another dot ball, however. 81 for 3. Smith to Carey, full toss, hit high in the air to deep mid-wicket. He'll stop it on the rope again, overbalancing out there, but doing very well to keep his feet is Jack Taylor.
Brilliant
and
stop
back
again.
For a second run, but that's all. I thought that was 4 off the bat, but again, some good footwork in those snazzy green trainers of Jack Taylor. 2 more to the total, 83 for 3, Carey on to 20. Facing up to Smith again. Reverse sweep this time, he's got it. Oh, great
well
hand.
Stopped.
Terrific hand from the fielder at backward point. And it's just a single.
Ryan Higgins.
And
well, that was
again,
an over.
That looked like 4 off the bat.
That was an over that looked like it was going to go for about 16, but it went for how many, Julian? 6.
So 76 required from 48 deliveries.
Oh, it's tense.
It's getting up towards 10 and over now.
It is tense. Well, now then, it's going to be... Is Howe going to carry on? No. I think that's sensible from Michael Klinger. He's bringing on Liddell from the Ashley Down Road end. Now, he was quite tight himself.
Yep, Liddell's bowled well so far, isn't he?
I think Michael Klinger is banking on Howe bowling one of the last 2 or 3 overs.
Yep, and also from Sussex's perspective, however, it does just potentially allow them... It's one of these sort of swing overs where if it ends up being a good over for Gloucestershire, they've got through another over of somebody not Howell, and it's cheap and it's increased the rate to double digits. But if Sussex do get a good over, this could be the one that brings them back into the game. So I kind of feel as though this is maybe the biggest over of the match so far. I don't agree. I think Chris Liddell's an experienced campaigner. I mean, he's not going to be put off if a bad ball does go his way. They brought Payne up to a short third man on the edge of the circle. They've got a long off to the left-hander and 3 on the leg side boundary. So Liddell must bowl on the offside, you would think. He comes in now over the wicket and gets himself in a right mess, does Carey, and he gets a single. The ball somehow goes out to the fielder at long off, and they get a single. Don't know how he got it there. Exactly. I want to see a hot spot on where
I don't know how he got it.
Extraordinary.
It was, well, stop. One off the ball, one off the first ball. Always good.
Sure, you're going to be wanting to patent that shot, really.
No, not really. No. So long off has now come in. There's a long on, which I think is probably the right thing to do. No, they got the long and the long off back now. Klinger making sure there's only 5 outside the circle. And he checks himself. Yes, there is. Little bowls again. And that's down the leg side. But again, that hit the pad. It would have been a wide if it hadn't hit the pad.
Well, yeah, he's got away with that one a little, Chris Little.
He did.
Excuse me.
Yes,
that was
Little.
unintentional. But so far the pressure continues to build on Visa and Carey as well, who slowed down a little since
they
his
must
quick
be
start.
a little bit of concern now, because Duckworth is well ahead now, and I think Gloucestershire are bowling really well, and Klinger, as always, is telling. Now, this is where Klinger is at his best. He's now bringing in the long on in. He's put a third man down, which is a shrewd move. Let's see what happens. Little bowls again, down the leg side wide. Oh dear. That was bad from Little. He knows it as well.
Well, it's only 1 run, I suppose.
Well, 1 run could be crucial at the end of the game.
It could be, but at the same time,
ball.
it's better than just laying it up there and being a boundary ball, I suppose.
Well, it isn't really.
Well,
We're giving away a run.
well, yeah, but it's better than it going for 4, isn't it?
Well, I suppose so, yeah, but he's got an extra ball to bowl now.
Just bowl a good one.
Well, okay, this is going to be a good one then. Let's wait and see. Bowls to Visa, who's on 11. And that... Oh, he's dropped, and that, believe it or not, is Ryan Higgins, who normally has the safest pair of hands you could ever wish to. Bit of an excuse, hit very hard at him, and it was at his face, but that could be a turning point of the game.
It was a cut shot that just was not controlled by David Visa. He didn't know where he was hitting it exactly.
Well, that's a rarity. That's the first blatant drop Gloucestershire have done in this competition. Little bowls again, and it's bowled in! Well played! Carey's gone for 22, and luckily Ryan Higgins gave that single away the ball before.
Serendipitous. And I think if you were to choose which batsman you wanted out,
absolutely,
you'd choose
Carey's
Carey
gone.
over Visa.
Well, Little just bowled it really straight, and that was a tremendous bowling spell from Little. I mean, the children are loving it here. Look at all this big screen. Everyone's waving their little 4s and 6s cards. And I think Sussex now are under a bit of pressure, you know.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. And they're in need of something from Delray Rawlins, who comes...
Well, they've got
the
Chris
crease.
Jordan as well. He's no slouch.
He's not, no. But somebody who, well, I would say somebody who hasn't so far. I mean, of course, Jordan's only playing his second game of the tournament, but somebody who hasn't stepped up yet for Sussex is probably going to have to. I mean, of course, Rawlins has only batted 3 times, but he's only scored 13 runs in his 3 innings. So coming in this situation where you're coming out needing almost 10 runs per over straight away, but then he is a batsman who can come out and just biff it from ball 1 as well.
Well, Rawls is facing.
Just don't know what you're going to get from the Bermudan.
Well, let's wait and see. Little bowls, and that rose up in him, and they go through for a single. I mean, Brian Higgins is probably chuckling to himself. He said, if I hadn't have dropped that ball, then Carey wouldn't have been out the next ball. Cricket's a funny game, isn't it? It's a strange old game.
I think that is the ball that takes the required run rate over 10 as well for
Excellent,
Sussex.
okay. Well played. Julian Clark confirms that along to our left-hand side. He does exist, I tell you. Visa bowl is cut, and that's a single, which is maintained by Ty, who hurls the ball in. Now, that's the end of a nice over, 89 for 4. There's 7 overs remaining, 7 overs to get 71 runs, which is 10 and over. Now, I have to say that Gloucestershire were looking at 10 and over about this stage, weren't they? And it just, I think so much depends on Michael Klinger getting his fielding position exactly right.
Probably 1 more wicket to play with Gloucestershire had than Sussex, is that right, Julian?
Were they 3?
Yeah, there's 3 down. So
89 for
again,
3.
There's the difference.
Yeah, well,
potentially.
Unfortunately,
A lot depends on David Visa now.
Visa on 13.
Here comes Smith. Bowls to the aforementioned Visa. That's a poor ball down the leg side. Helped away, swung away to the wide long leg boundary for a boundary to start the over. 93
Poor
for
ball.
4.
Very
Visa
poor
to
ball.
17.
That was a poor ball. You just can't. You'd be wasting a field if you put someone down at wide long leg to stop that. But it was a very poor ball.
Yeah, and then even if you do have someone there, he hits it somewhere else because he's got so
Yes.
much time. Smith bowls to Visa. Visa gives himself room, cuts it hard, but straight to backward point, and they don't get a run for it. So valuable dot after the boundary off the first ball. It's 67 required from 40 balls here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex. David Visa on 17. Delray Rawlins new to the crease. Smith bowls. Again, cut right off the stumps by David Visa. You better not miss that. And it's gone out to deep cover for just the one.
Well, as you say, right on the stumps, and really no room for manoeuvre, really.
Right. It is a shot that Visa plays a lot, though. He does back his eye to hit that ball when he's backing away from it off the stumps. Rawlins on strike. Smith bowls. Full toss, wristily played into the leg side by Rawlins, all along the ground out to deep mid-wicket for another one.
Ones are okay.
They certainly are from Gloucestershire's point of view at the moment. 95 for 4. Now, Visa boundary off the first ball without taking a risk. But you'd probably say Rawlins has, even though he's new to the crease, because Visa is the key wicket at this stage, Rawlins has to be the one to take the risk if any Sussex batsman is needing to do that.
Well, Smith is now, he just can't bowl this down the leg side.
Here comes Smith and bowls to Visa. Visa backs away again, cuts it right off his stumps, cuts it to backward point. There's a shot at the stumps. It's going to be out if he hits. It misses. Smith removes the bails, but in that time, David Visa has made his ground.
Yeah, if it had hit, he'd have been out.
So through for a single, 96 for 4.
Well, it shows the pressure Sussex are under.
Well, they didn't take a single to that fielder earlier in the over. It was an identical shot, and it does show you, yeah. Extra pressure now as Smith bowls to Rawlins. Rawlins always shaped up for a big slog sweep, and he plays a front foot defensive shot
Good
right
over.
back up the pitch, which Gloucestershire certainly won't mind seeing. So 63 required by Sussex off the final 36 balls. The final
64
6
required,
overs.
actually, to win.
64 required to win, yes.
Well, that was, apart from that first ball from Tom Smith, it was a good over. I think it went for 7. See,
Well, that's, I mean, even if you do bowl one bad ball, needing 10 and over, as long as
Now-
you only bowl the one.
Benny Howe's coming on to finish his spell. Now, this is a gamble by Michael Klinger. If Benny Howe bowls as well as he has done, great move. They'll be under the cosh. If he bowls a few loose ones, whack, whack, whack. Visa facing Benny Howe. As Benny Howe bowls and dot ball to start the over. Excellent. Well played, Benny Howe. And
Just-
every ball is getting applauded by the crowd here now.
Even if you're a Sussex fan on such a big day for Tom Smith, 4 overs, 1 for 25.
Not
I
bad
think,
at all. That's
yes,
fabulous.
hats off to Tom Smith,
Yeah, fabulous.
whichever team you're supporting.
Yeah, well played him. Difficult day for him. As Benny Howe comes in and bowls again. Oh, he's missed it. And
Somehow that has missed the stumps.
how did it miss the stumps? Well, I think I can't understand it.
It's just
Benny Howe doesn't
snuck past
understand
the
it.
off-stumps
Bracey
somehow.
doesn't understand it, and Visa hasn't a clue how that missed the stumps. I don't
Sure,
know.
he was waiting for the death rattle there.
2 dot balls though. That's all that matters. 64 still required. Benny Howe comes in again. And that's pulled away, and it's going to be Jack Taylor's got to stop it. It's going to go for 2. They do come for 2. The throw comes in, and Benny Howe's a little bit cross with that because Jack Taylor had to slipped a bit but it would have been 2 anyway. I'm
It
sure
would
it
have
would have
been,
been
I
2
think,
anyway.
yeah. I think it maybe is a little bit more cross in the fact that I don't think that was anywhere near where Visa meant to get it. It looked like a bit of
Well-
a bottom edge to me, which went fine on the leg side. So
I think Klinger has got every gap possible covered at the moment. As Howe bowls again, and Visa
Oh,
goes
can't
high
cover
in this
that.
one, and that's a massive 6. Where's that landed?
I think it's gone in the gap between the flats and the scoreboard, has it?
Oh, I see. Right, as long as it didn't hit him on the head, that's all right. Well, that was an unfortunate blip from Benny Howe. 104 for 4 now, 56 required.
Well, that is the Visa get-out shot, that pick up over the leg side. He can kind of hit it anywhere from sort of wide mid-on all the way out to a square leg.
Well, they want to get this ball back. I tell you why, because it may have a little bit of marks on it.
Don't talk about ball changes. I mean,
well, that's it.
Ball change in.
They are bringing one on.
Earlier in the
I think it probably hit the concrete and perhaps went into the tennis or the nets they have over there.
There's only plenty of balls being thrown about. Let's just hope one of the kids doesn't throw their ball back instead of the.
For an orange back on.
Are we getting I think we're getting a replacement though.
Yeah.
The box of balls is.
Well, that can
out.
That's a bit of that can upset in some way the bowler. But Benny Howe's got to get on with it. Michael Kling has a little look and says, "That's not good enough." Klinger says, "Look, that's not good enough." Klinger looks at that and says, "That's not good enough."
They're going to have to get the handcuffs out to look like handcuffs. The ball shape.
Well, they're waiting to see the ball's coming back. Well, Klinger's not happy with that ball, you can tell. 104 for 4. How many balls is over to go? 1, 2. Disappointing.
56 off 32.
Visa on 27. And that's going to go for... That's well fielded again. They come back for 2. Good bit of fielding. I think Howe's lost his line and length with this new ball.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that he does want to bowl it straight, not to give Visa width, but at the same time, Visa is so good at that pickup shot that if he bowls it not quite the Yorker length, which he's done the last 2, then Visa will punish him.
Very important ball, this. It could be either over or under 10 and over in the last 5. And that's just a single, and it's 107 for 4, and they require 53, and there's 5 overs in which to get them. It's building up. It's building up.
Well,
however,
got ourselves a finish.
Howell has bowled his 4. 1 for 25. 0 for 25.
Ryan Higgins hasn't bowled yet, has he?
He's going to bowl soon.
I'm not sure. I mean,
No.
so they've got 5 overs left. Payne can bowl 2, Ty can bowl 2, and Little can bowl 1. So,
well, Higgins.
Will Higgins get a look in? I think it probably depends on how.
Well, Ty's
Payne
coming on to bowl
bowls
now.
His first
yeah,
over.
Ty's bowling his 3rd over from the Bristol Pavilion end, just in front of us. He'll be bowling to Visa, who's on 30, and Rankin's on 2 at the other end, who's been really much a bit of a extra, if you like.
Here comes Ty and bowls to Visa. Short, wide, cut hard, straight to backward point, and they're not going to get a run either. Rawlins thought about it.
Tom Smith, brilliant
Tom
fielding.
Smith with the arm covers on, the pink arm covers. So a dot to start, 53 from 29.
I'm getting quite excited.
Yes, it is exciting. It's a good finish. Here comes Ty. Bowls to Visa. Short, and he swings and misses.
Yeah, he played it too early, didn't he?
He did. Was exactly threw the shot too early, and it may have stayed down on him as well, but it was misjudged by Visa, and
well, Ty normally is not the bowler to give away runs. He didn't bowl particularly well against Glamorgan, but if he doesn't bowl it in short, he'll be all right.
Here comes Ty, bowls to Visa. Good length, right on
Just
the stumps, and
single.
all Visa can do is just trap his bat down on it, and it goes out into the offside for a single. 108 for 4, Visa 31.
We're going to have another tie.
52 required from 27 balls here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex.
Don't leave the radio set, whatever you do.
Absolutely not. Rawlins then, from Sussex's perspective, they need him to get a boundary. Here comes Ty over the wicket to the left-handed Rawlins. Rawlins sets himself, smacks it over the leg side. There's the boundary, all the way for 6 over Cow Corner. That was a great connection from Rawlins. You could see he had that shot in mind as soon as the ball, in fact probably before the ball was released, set himself and crashed it away exactly. It was length, wasn't it, at this stage of the innings. 114 for 4.
Yeah, well, it's gonna... He's got 2 balls to go. Thank you, Julian. 2 balls to go. Thank you.
46 required. Ty to Rawlins, great delivery, Yorker from Ty, and Ty's not quite sure how Rawlins managed to jam his bat down on it. It was only the bottom of it, because Rawlins is looking at it now. It was just the perfect Yorker from Ty.
He's broken his bat.
Not surprised.
He got a single for it.
115 for 4. So 45 required from 25 deliveries. So just under 11 and over. Here comes Ty, bowls to Visa. Short, pulled away but not timed by Visa. Should only be a single, and is out to Miles Hammond at deep mid-wicket. So, a mixed over, but overall, a good one for Gloucestershire just about.
It's 11 and over. Just 9 off that over.
A couple under the asking rate now, which is over 11.5. Well, actually, it's not, excuse me, it's not over 11.5. That was before the 6 got up.
It's 11. It's 44 runs in 4 overs. It's 11 and over.
We're exchanging a smirk here, by the way.
It's 11 and over. Nothing more, nothing less.
Rawlins has got his bat changed. As always, there's several to choose from. I suppose they have their order of preference, but...
Yeah, they're all sponsored, aren't they?
Don't pay for your bats at this level. So, is it going to be Payne then to bowl the first of his remaining
Payne
2?
will bowl, you would imagine, unless Payne bowls a bad over, he'll bowl the next 2. Now, Ty's got 1 over to go, and it's either going to be Liddell or Higgins. I would imagine Liddell, but Ty might bowl the last over.
Yep, I would think if, in some ways, in the unlikely scenario that Sussex get a massive over, I think there might be a situation where he would have to bowl in the penultimate one, but I think ideally, ideally Klinger would like Ty to bowl the last.
Well, Payne had a little discussion with the umpire before he starts this over, and I'll tell you the field, the field are all spread out. They've got a long off and a long on. They've got a deep cover, they've got a third man, and they've got a cow corner. Now, no one at backward square leg, which is interesting. They've got a fielder by the umpire, but Jack Taylor is at cow corner.
Better not bowl it short and down the leg side then.
Visa facing 116. Payne bowls, and that's going to be 4 runs. Yes, I'm afraid it is. I'm sure he didn't mean to play it there. It was just outside, and poor old Ryan Higgins just couldn't reach it. Crucial ball.
Well, it was the wide Yorker, wasn't it? And it was executed well by Payne, but it's just another example of, especially with the middles of these bats, he just jabbed his bat down on it pretty much, Visa, and angled it so that it was away from deep cover, and just that one ball has immediately prompted what looks like possibly a change in plan.
They got 2 on the offside now.
And that's what I was talking about earlier with that fielder at back deep point that Sussex had when they were trying to bowl those wide Yorkers. That's exactly where that ball ended up going.
Yeah, Payne again comes into bowl, and he misses it. Makes up for it. Well played. Swish and a mish.
Well, good execution from David Payne. It's going to be hard work for
Who says
Sussex.
cricket's boring? Who says it's boring?
Going to keep landing it there. 40 from 22.
Yeah, it's... Oh, I'm very, very tense at the moment, I tell you.
Really could not be more in the balance.
No, it couldn't. I think Gloucestershire bowled really well. Here's Payne again. Comes in, around the wicket bowls. And that's a smoked, or a smite, call it what you like. And it's only a single up towards a very, very long on.
Yeah, a bit of a thrash there from Visa, but...
That's okay. 5 off 3.
It is for Gloucestershire.
Yes, if you're listening in Sussex, we are, well, I'm biased. You should be biased towards Sussex, shouldn't you?
I should be.
Yeah. No, we're all right. We're all right. We're perfectly above board here. I just think Luke Wright will be furious about being given out on that, but I think it was out.
It will be a very interesting question to ask.
Well, that's your job.
Whoever I interview after the innings, what they think of it, because they pretty much had the best view of anyone done in.
Rawlins faces and Payne bowls to him, and that's going to be 4 runs. It was a bit of a the fielder up there. I can't quite see. He's made a bit of a hash of that. it went straight to him on the bounce, and he just fumbled it. It went over the boundary, so that's a bit of a disappointment for Payne. That means it's now 9, isn't it? 9 off 4.
Yeah, it's just the speed of the ball.
Yeah.
And also, again, the fact that it was on that awkward sort of almost half volley, but at the same time, at this stage, you've got to stop him.
Very important last 2 balls, the over. Smote away again, just for the single. 1, 2, 6 for 4 now. 34 runs required off 19 balls.
Again, a bit of a hack from Rawlins, but it's the time for hacks at this stage from Sussex's perspective.
Well, now this is I maintain this is a very important ball from David Payne, because it's the last ball of his penultimate over, and if he bowls it short, Visa is in the slot. He loves it. He's got a bowl of, I would say he's got about a Yorker length delivery.
He's probably going to be looking for that wide Yorker again, I reckon.
He tries again. Payne comes in the bowl to him, and he's hit on the pads. He's given LBW. Well played, David Payne. It was straight. It was as straight as a die, and Michael Klinger leaps into David Payne's arms in celebration. It was straight. You could see from here that was as plumb could be.
Yep, he moved all the way across. I think possibly trying to get towards the wide Yorker, but it wasn't a wide Yorker. It was a straight Yorker, and yeah, just I think in the end tried to whip it away through backward square on the next side, where there is both fielders were up, but in the end moved a long way across, and yeah, as you say,
it's not over yet.
Anything wrong with that one? Plum
it's
LBW.
Not over yet. End of the over that was, and 3 overs to go. Correct. 3 overs to go.
34.
But Visa's gone. I would imagine it's not Chris Jordan. Oh, it is Chris Jordan coming out. No, it's number 1. Who's number 1?
No, it's Jordan.
Oh, he's normally number 8, I thought.
I think it is the number 8. It just looks like that.
No, it's number 1.
It's number 1. It's Rashid Khan. Rashid Khan's come out ahead of Chris Jordan. Now that's interesting.
Right. Well, I saw Rashid Khan went in number 11 for Sussex. Oh, this is interesting.
With Rashid Khan, he gets the ball into very unorthodox areas, and he does start from ball 1 like he's going to clear the ropes, almost whatever the situation. Mind you, normally he is coming in at the end of the innings for Sussex.
But Rankins is facing Ty. Now Ty's bowling his last over.
3 overs, 1 for 25 so far as Ty bowls wide, and a cut and a miss by Rawlins.
Not
so
a wide.
Perfect start to the over. Rawlins is on his haunches looking back up the pitch, but it did look all right from here. 34 from 17, so 2 a ball now for Sussex.
I don't like this.
Well, Gloucestershire are looking favourites now, I think.
1 bad ball.
Ty bowls to Rawlins. Down the leg side.
Wide.
Good take from Bracey, no mistakes, but as Bob says, it is a wide. So 33 from 17. But, again, Rawlins just gets a little tickle on that. It's away to the fine leg boundary for 4, but, well, again, a decent keeping from Bracey to take that. It would have been disastrous, I think, for Gloucestershire's morale if that had somehow managed to get past him. Here comes Ty, bowling to the left-handed Delray Rawlins. Wide, swing and a miss. That one is a wide. Yeah, called so by umpire Mike Burns. The crowd don't like it, but it was a wide.
Was.
Yeah, outside the markers. So back-to-back wides on opposite sides of the wicket from Ty.
That's not 2 extra balls bowled. And what?
Well, Rashid Khan's got something to say to Rawlins. I'm not sure what it is. He's saying if it's a wide, just let it go.
Yeah.
Tie in again. Bowls to Rawlins. Rawlins swings. He's got this one away. Back on a square on the leg side. Away for 4. Picked the gap perfectly between short fine leg and deep square leg.
Overpitched.
It was. And Rawlins just swung it away. Didn't get great connection on it, but he knew what he was doing with it. He moves to 18, and Sussex require
28
to win from,
I think it's 9 balls. 2 gone. Only 2 gone.
16 then. Tie to Rawlins again. Bowls. That's very wide. Well, I think that would have been a wide, but Rawlins has decided to cut it, and he's only going to get a single for it. So, well, short, wide and slow, has to be said, from Ty. So maybe that was what at least, well, maybe put Rawlins off a little bit.
So just the single, 133 for 5, and again, right when Sussex get the boundary, Gloucestershire get a single or a dot to pull it back right away. No back-to-back boundaries, which at this stage is what Sussex are looking for. So it'll be Rashid Khan on strike to tie, right-handed batsman. And they struck on the pad and give an LBW! Rashid Khan, first ball, golden duck. He doesn't look happy about it, but he's
absolutely
got to go.
plum.
Second wicket for Ty, and Sussex, well, they're going to need something very special from Chris Jordan now.
Well, they are. I mean, I've got to say, that was absolutely plum, wasn't it? Absolutely plum. No movement from Khan at all. Just stood in front of his stump, straight ball. Andrew Ty does it again.
Well, there we were thinking he was going to be saved to the last over, but Klinger has pushed the right button, it seems, and...
Don't know, here comes C. Jordan.
Dangerous Rashid Khan, at any rate.
Now, Jordan, I've seen swing matches.
Yep, well, he's going to have to be the hero for
One ball left.
him and Rawlins.
2 balls left this inning, this over from Ty. So 14 balls remain to get 27.
Tall order.
Well, Jordan...
And a new batsman in as well.
Now, the area I'm worried about here is third man. We've got David Payne is at the circle, and if Jordan swings, it just gets a thin edge down to third man. I would have a third man in.
Who'd you take him from, though?
Oh, I don't know.
Take him from long on, long off?
Perhaps long on and in. He's not going to hit over the top, is he?
We'll see. Here comes Ty. Bowls to Chris Jordan. First ball, Jordan turns into the leg side. They're both rapid between the wickets, but even they are not going to be able to get back for 2 there. Hammond in off the boundary ropes. It didn't leave the 30-yard circle, but they decided against coming back for the second run. 134 for 6. 26 required from 13 balls.
Yeah, 2 a ball. Now, I said this is going to be a very important ball from Ty, because Payne will bowl the... I don't know, Payne might come on this end to bowl the last over, but that would be a gamble.
Well, yeah, do you want to change ends, and then Little would have to bowl
the
last
or
over?
Or Higgins. Oh, don't know.
Ty. Rawlins is on strike. In and bowls. Short, wide cut, hard by Rawlins. That's going to go out to the man at deep extra cover. They're going to think about two.
Great
not
fielding.
Get it again.
Brilliant
it's Hammond
fielding.
Again covering tremendous ground at deep extra cover. So just the one. And with 2 overs remaining, Sussex require 25 from those 12 balls here on BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Sussex.
Yeah, now David Payne is going to bowl the penultimate over, which means a lot of pressure on Crystal, because if you look at that, Michael Klinger's only used 5 bowlers. He hasn't used Ryan Higgins. I don't know why he hasn't used Ryan. Perhaps he's got a bit of an injury, but...
He almost hasn't needed
He
to.
may have got hurt when that ball hit him on the catch, but now Payne, this is a very, very important over from David Payne.
Well, he can basically shut this game down here. If he bowls a brilliant over,
yeah,
there's going to be so many needed. I mean, if he goes for only 6 or something, then 19 off the last over would be. I mean, Sussex need to get it down. I think to at least they need to get at least 10 off this over.
I think so. Yeah. Well, there's no third man again. Smith is a very wide gully. Little is a very wide sort of fly slippy playing up in the air, and that's going to go just a single. He got on top of that, did Rankins, and it was just fell short of the fielder running in from long on. Well, just a single.
Fortunate how badly he hit the ball in.
Yeah, it was
one of those plinked shots off the top of the bat. And
well, I tell you one thing, it's going to go in the last over here. It's going to be exciting, very exciting here on BBC Radio Bristol, BBC Sussex as well. So don't go from your radio sets. It's a real cracker here at Bristol. As Payne, he's probably feeling a bit nervous, but he's going to bowl to Chris Jordan, who's on 1 at the moment. And Jordan waits, and it's going to be
a
cracking shot for 4. Now Hammond did all as he possibly could. It goes for 4. Now that has swung the game a little bit towards Sussex, just a tad. Hammond, if he'd have been, he ran 30 yards and he flung himself at it, but actually it was too good for him.
Scorched along the turf by Jordan. I mean, if he hit that, I think, about as hard as he could, and if it had been hit any softer, then Hammond would have got to it.
Now Hammond's, I think, is told to stay out a bit wider. That's quite right.
Back to 2 a ball.
Yeah, 10 balls, 20 to win. Payne bowls again. Jordan gets a single up towards long off. That's okay. Now,
Timing was good from Jordan, but not able to get it wide enough of long off.
well, I have to say, I think these two, well, Rankins is facing now on 21. Rankins is very good at getting the ball over the leg side, but there's a long boundary out there.
Well, what Payne, from his and Gloucestershire's perspective, mustn't do, he mustn't bowl length here.
Rawlings is facing, yes. And that's going to go straight. It's got to be fielded. Oh, it's 4 more. It's a straight drive. It couldn't be any straighter. Oh, dear.
I'm going to wax lyrical about that shot
Shot,
because that
great
to
shot.
me was a almost, if not a perfect Yorker length from Payne. I don't think Payne's done anything wrong there. I don't think he missed his Yorker. I think Rawlins just somehow managed to get incredible power on that, straight down the ground. It was all power, really.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I would give all credit to
Win. Payne bowls again, and that's smote.
Should be 2.
No, I don't think they're going to go for 2. They'd be
risk
silly to go for 2. That's just the 1 run. And so there's now, how many balls is over to go? Just 1. 7 balls to go. 13 runs required. I'm going to say, stick my head out, this is perhaps the most important ball of the whole game.
Until the next one and the next one.
Well, if it goes for 4 or 6, they give them...
Well, yes, they're 6 down to single digits.
Yeah. Here's Payne again. Bowls to Jordan. And Jordan up in the air. It's going to be out caught by Cobain. He's gone underneath it, and he catches it. Hooray! And poor old Jordan's gone. Well, I have to say, they are tremendous at catching these steepling catches. And Cobain receives the plaudits from Andrew Ty as he goes past him. And that, in many ways, was a routine catch. Jordan went for it. Now it's 14 off and over. Now Sussex haven't not out of it yet. They're not out of it yet. But what an important over, and it's going to be bowled by Ryan Higgins, of all people.
Oh, now that is a big call to bowl
Big
the
call.
first over of the match
Big call.
as the last over. That is a huge call.
Well, Rawlings is on 26, and out comes... Who's 25?
It's Robinson.
Robinson. Oh.
So what they did well there, Sussex, was not cross, because if they had crossed, then Robinson would have been on strike for the new over.
Yeah, well, that was
I saw
intelligent
that happen
cricket,
the other
yeah.
evening, where the batsman crossed and the tail ender, not that Robinson's tail ender, but the lower order tail ender batsman was on strike for the first ball of the last over. It's easy to lose your head in that situation, so...
Well, they could say they didn't move. I mean, it was obviously going to catch it. Well, I mean, they practice them day in, day out, day in, day out. And Gloucestershire, I don't think, have dropped a steepler in the entire competition. Right, now they're
Rawlins on
talking
strike,
about...
He's the man for Sussex.
Well, I think the umpires are slightly worried about the time. 5:15 it should finish. No, it's now 17:27. That's okay. On their radios, they're just checking out what's going to happen.
Would you believe it? It is. Is it not? 6 penalty runs to Sussex. Gloucestershire have gone over by 2 minutes, and it's 6 penalty runs. So Sussex now only need 8 to win off this final over as Higgins bowls, and it's whipped down the ground by Rawlins.
Well, that's madness.
It'll be a single. It'll be a single, that is all. 7 from 5. 6
They've gone over
penalty
it.
runs for going over, and
Well,
my clock here says 17:19. The cut-off said 17:17. That is when they have to start the last over, be in position to start the last over.
It's all gone horribly wrong. It's
It
all gone
has.
horribly wrong.
But Sussex have still got to do the business.
Well,
They've
they
been
haven't
handed a
told the crowd.
huge
They haven't
lifeline.
told the crowd that.
Well, actually, Michael Klinger is now remonstrating with Mike Burns, the umpire.
Well, it's 17:17, and I made it. They stepped.
In position
Yeah.
to bowl. I mean, it's all on, because when I looked, it was 19 past. But that's my watch for a start. That's not the timepiece they're using. Anyway, here comes Higgins bowls.
It's wide.
And a
Wide.
wide called. Wide called. The crowd are going to be even more unhappy now. 7 required from 5 balls.
Klinger's furious.
Well, I think
They should have warned him. I mean, the ball's gone out all over the... It's been out in the ground a couple of times.
now, I'll tell you what, now this is really interesting. Both umpires are now going to have a chat, so at least Klinger must have some... Klinger must have enough of a case that the umpires are listening to it, which means that, well, now they're... Well, this is turning into a little bit of a farce, unfortunately.
Well, it isn't, because Klinger is sticking to his guns.
Well,
he says
I just
there's
mean
no warning.
We were having, we were having a fantastic game of cricket, and now it's a shame that it's going to end for whichever side on.
Well, I think
bitterness now.
Klinger's furious out there. Absolutely furious. Now, we've got to win this one. 6 required off 5 balls, isn't it?
Yep.
No, it's a wide.
Well, it's 154 for 7, whatever the score, so it's 6 required.
Well, Klinger...
It is 5 balls remaining.
Well, the umpires, I think they're going to get cross.
They're going to have another chat here.
Well, I think Klinger is saying, look, there's no warning.
I mean,
the crowd are getting
it's
quite...
true, the umpires, whilst it is Klinger's obligation to get the overs in, the umpires should be warning him regularly. And it seems as though Klinger has been taken completely by surprise by this situation. So it's 6 from 5. Higgins bowls to Robinson. Robinson comes down, hits it down the ground. It should just be the single, and it is, as fielded by Benny Howell. So 5 from 4.
4 balls left. 4 balls left here. I don't know.
5 from 4.
Well, this is a complete farce.
It's an extraordinary situation. I've only ever seen that happen once in the Blast before. Jade Dernbach and Surrey ran over once. Higgins bowls to Rawlins. Good delivery. Oh, Rawlins has squeezed it between short fine leg and backward square, and it is 4. It is 4.
Boom.
He dived for it on the rope. Last ditch attempt to try to save the boundary, but couldn't do it. And the scores are level. The scores are level with 3 balls remaining in the innings.
I shouldn't think Michael Klinger will be worth talking to after the game today. I mean, they have.
I thought we were going to be talking about that catch on the boundary for the tie, but now, what an extraordinary game in some ways. But well, now everybody has to come in. Scores level. Sussex have 3 balls with which to hit the winning run.
They always do.
It would be extraordinary if they don't. Here comes Higgins. In and bowls to Rawlins. Full toss over the top. Sussex have won. Sussex win by 3 wickets. You can hear what the crowd think about it here. It is a sour end to this match, really. 6 penalty runs as Gloucestershire have been adjudged to go over their allotted cut-off time. Sussex win by 3 wickets. They maintain their unbeaten record in the T20 Blast. What an extraordinary turn of events.
I've never seen that before. It came completely out the blue, didn't it? Suddenly, the scoreboard went down 6.
Yep.
They needed...
You mentioned the cut-off time.
Yes.
And I looked and it was past it according to my clock on my laptop here, but of course that's not what they go by. And then all of a sudden, without any fanfare, 6 runs up on the board.
Well, it's virtually ruled Gloucestershire out of qualifying, and I mean the umpires. The Klinger is still out there, and I mean he's a good sportsman, Klinger, but he's a tough Aussie out there, and he says, well, you've got to give us a warning, surely.
Well.
And Klinger is now remonstrating. I'm sure he'd have... Well, Luke Wright, I mean, it's nothing to do with Luke Wright, of course. You know, he's come out and he's shaking hands.
And I'm sure Luke Wright would be the first to say that that's not how he wants to win a game.
Absolutely, no. Absolutely.
Well, Delray Rawlins, whilst we have, of course, rightfully so, been talking about this 6 penalty runs, Delray Rawlins has played a blinder for Sussex there, 35 from 17 balls. He had no form coming into this, and he's come out there and hit to good areas.
Well, I tell you
what,
what,
when he needed to, and all credit, whilst of course